The head of the Federal Reserve Bank this morning will step down. Anne Pragmiori resigned as chair last week, and it comes to a head today, according to the Chicago Tribune, who says her resignation comes after she abruptly retired as CEO of Exelon Utilities earlier this month amid a federal probe of lobbyist activities. The Trib also says one focus, of course, is the widening federal probe into lobbying and payoffs sparked by the corruption probe of Senator Marty Sandoval. Chicago teachers this morning remain on strike despite accepting a tentative deal with the Chicago Public Schools. Chicago Teachers Union voting yesterday to accept the tentative deal, but is refusing to return to the classroom until Mayor Lori Lightfoot agrees to make up and compensate teachers for all the school days missed during the walkout.
Our union does not have a return to work agreement. Our delegates told us in no uncertain terms we were not going back to work unless there is a provision made for making up the instructional days that have been lost over the last 10 days.
Lightfoot fired back, saying she will not compensate the union for the days they were out walking picket lines.
We've given them a historic deal by any measure. And compensation, dealing with the issues of class size, staffing, homelessness, sports, the list goes on and on. At some point, the negotiations have to end.
As a result, CPS canceled classes for an 11th school day in a row. 5:04 on AM 560 and other stories we're following this morning. Chicago Police Department planning to change the way it handles murder investigations as a result of a critical report. The Police Executive Research Forum concluded CPD's Bureau of Detectives is understaffed, overtasked, and often working without a uniform procedural edict. A man accused of firing the bullet that went through the open window of a Chicago home, penetrated a wall, and then fatally wounded an 11-year-old girl has been acquitted. Tevin Lee was found not guilty of first-degree murder and aggravated discharge of a firearm in the 2014 death of Shemaiah Adams in July of 2014. Chicago Police Oversight Agency says an officer was justified in fatally shooting a 19-year-old man on the back porch of a house in 2014. COPA released its ruling on the death of Rashad McIntosh. Officer Robert Schlechter said McIntosh pointed a gun at him. A loaded 9mm pistol was found at the scene, and other officers corroborated Schlechter's story. Uber is taking legal action to challenge attacks on ride-hailing services in Skokie. The ride-sharing company filed suit yesterday claiming Skokie's tax violates the Illinois Constitution. Uber has asked the court to block the village from collecting a 15-cent tax for shared rides and a 35-cent tax on individual rides. There's a big shakeup in the beer business this morning, and it's splashing over here in Chicago. Molson Coors is moving its North American headquarters from Denver to Chicago. Company leaders say it will save the brewer millions, around $150 million a year. Molson Coors will also be slashing hundreds of jobs from its offices worldwide. Company lost more than $400 million in the third quarter. The Coors Brewery in Golden, Colorado will still remain open. Chicago Public Schools will let football teams that qualified for the state playoffs practice during the continuing teachers' strike. The practices keep the hopes of a few CPS football teams alive for another couple of days. The Bears' longtime PA announcer is calling it quits. Jim Rybant will retire at the end of the season. Rybant became the team's full-time PA announcer in 1982. Cavaliers got by the Bulls 117-111 last night. Nationals celebrating their first World Series title. They beat the Astros 6-2. Nationals skipper Dave Martinez.
Anthony hitting a big home run. I think that was the key. He really opened it up right there. The guys, I saw the guys. They felt like they had life. We're down one. We got still a lot of game to play, and then you saw that basket getting better.
The road team won all 7 games in that series. The news service of Indeed.com, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners post job openings with screener questions and review and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
The Dennis Prager Show.
Craig in Chicago, hello.
I want to say thank you so much. I really credit so much for helping me awaken to look at things in a different way, and I cannot thank you enough.
I am proud of doing so and thrilled that I did.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer. Are you almost 65 years old? Time flies, doesn't it? Well, Medicare enrollment is coming up, and you have some decisions to make. The problem? It can be totally confusing. Medicare Part A and Part B, Medigap Plan F versus Plan G. The alternatives practically run the alphabet. Pick the wrong thing, and you may pay more than you have to. Relax. Call eHealth. We have over 20 years of insurance experience and offer Medicare supplement plans from several of the largest insurance companies. Our licensed insurance agents are well equipped to offer solutions that may maximize your savings. We can help you with questions about coverage for your doctor, pharmacy, hospital, medical care, and prescription drug costs. We can also help you check if dental, vision, and hearing coverage are available. So, you can make a big fat guess or call eHealth now for a free consultation. There's no obligation to enroll, so call now. 800-MEDIGAP. 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 This is an insurance ad for eHealth, a licensed insurance agency not affiliated with Medicare or any government agency. This ad is not for Minnesota or Texas consumers.
America has a retirement crisis. 10,000 people turn 65 every day with alarmingly little savings. Company pensions are a thing of the past, and 401k plans are riddled with fees and expenses. We're living longer, so our retirement savings need to last longer. And these record low interest rates are virtually punishing savers, forcing many people to take on far too much risk in the stock market. So what can you do to help ensure you don't become another statistic of this crisis? The answers are in a free educational workshop with Tom Fortino, featured expert on Fox Business, Forbes, and the host of the Alpha Wealth Hour heard on AM 560. Learn about the 5 major threats to your retirement, creating lifetime income, and the Social Security decision, plus tax-free strategies to help make the IRS a smaller partner in your retirement, and how to pass along more wealth to the people you love. Seats are available in multiple locations throughout Chicagoland. Visit alphawealthgroup.com and click on the Classes tab to reserve your free seats now. alphawealthgroup.com.
Get your free credit scorecard today, even if you're not a Discover customer. It includes your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
5:10 in the AM 560 Traffic Center and Jim Talamonte.
We are in for another messy commute this morning with, again, some snow, especially in the western suburbs, some rain and some sleet mixed in. Right now there's sleet around O'Hare. In Elgin, westbound Lake Street, 20 is closed from 25 to St. Charles and Elgin for crash cleanup. Southbound 53, there's a wreck. Northwest Highway, 2 right lanes are blocked. Prepare to slow down there. Speeds are reduced on the expressways. No real incidents right now. As far as the Edens, the Kennedy, the Eisenhower, the Stevenson, or the Bryan go, express lanes should open shortly on the Kennedy. I-57 Bishop Ford, traffic's building. A little heavy now on the Ford now approaching the merge. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's our spooky meteorologist, Steve Williams.
We do have a winter weather advisory today. Clouds, breezy and cold. Some snow and rain at times. Could see accumulations up to an inch. The high today, 34. Clear, windy, and cold tonight, low 21. And then breezy and chilly. Clouds and sun tomorrow, the high 40. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Well, it's not Steve that's spooky. It's just the scary forecast. 33 at O'Hare. 37 along Chicago's lakefront. Snow beginning to fall across the entire area. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting TOP to 350-350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 LASIK surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago. And we're offering 20% off our already low-cost services.
What's that text again?
Text TOP to 350-350. That's TOP to 350-350 to schedule your free consultation today.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
I've been asked to tell you that the following show is very scary, with stuff that might give your kids nightmares. You see, there are some crybabies out there who might be offended. If you are one of them, I advise you to turn off your set now. Come on, I dare you. Chicken.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Happy Halloween. Congratulations to all you Washington Nationals fan on their first World Series championship.
Isn't it amazing? First World Series ever played where no one won a home game.
Yeah. Remarkable.
So the away game advantage, that's what we're going to call it now in coaching. Yeah, look what the Nationals did.
Good luck to Cubs fans, too, if you think you're ever going back to the World Series in your lifetime with young teams young talented teams and frankly, superior front offices, Nationals, Dodgers, Cardinals, etc. But anyway, congratulations to the Nats and Steven Strasburg, the World Series MVP. We're on the cusp of a victory here. When you've lost Ilhan Omar, you've lost the battle. And Ilhan Omar tweeted yesterday that she was proud to support educators on strike, CTU Local 1. They're fighting for the schools all of Chicago's kids deserve. They're fighting for a nurse and support staff in schools, smaller class sizes, adequate prep time. I stand with them. And once word got back to Lori Lightfoot that she had lost Ilhan Omar and the rest of her socialist friends, it was time to fold up her tent, and that's what she's done. They've got a tentative agreement, as you know, undoubtedly. Just waiting for the check to be written for the days the teachers were out on strike.
They want to get paid because they strike. They want the money, Dan. But you know what? Now, once again, I hope people realize for the 17th time that it's not about the children, and it never has been about the children. These are greedy, thug, mob bosses who are terrorists, and I don't care if you don't like what I'm saying, I'm calling you terrorists. You can call in. Don't hide on social media. Our number's 312-642-5600. You're terrorists because you're holding our children hostage.
Conquering hero Jesse Sharkey said this on the occasion of this TA.
Our delegates told us in no uncertain terms they were not going back to work unless there is a provision made for making up the instructional days that have been lost over the last 10 days.
And
he's getting a little in a hissy fit, Dan.
Well, he is the conquering hero in this story. Sharkey saying, report, as ABC7 reported, you know, the thing about it is we don't work for free.
We won many things in this battle. We now need to close the final chapter, which is to get an agreement to return to work.
CTU says that this holdup is over missed instructional time with students over the past 10 days. But when we asked them if CTU teachers would be willing to make up that time without pay, CTU President Jesse Sharkey said CTU members don't work for free.
That's right. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Congratulations in order all around as we're, nearing, write one more blank check for the days they were out on strike. If you want to make up the instructional days were lost, if you don't, who cares?
We don't want to make up the instructional days. We thought it'd be 2 more days added, and not to the end of the year, or not into spring break or Christmas break. These are, they have these teacher institute days where they really, I don't know what they do besides have fun and don't have to deal with kids.
The big picture here is that everybody wins who is important. I mean, not taxpayers and not the students, but everybody else is a big winner. And So it's a banner day in Chicago on this Hallows Eve.
You know what happened? It got cold yesterday, Dan, and it was raining, and it was unpleasant to be outside. And Lori Lightfoot, she laid down the hammer yesterday.
Not once during a 3.5-hour meeting did they raise compensation for strike days. Not once. The issue never came up. I've been clear from day one that CPS would not make up any strike days. And at this late hour, we are not adding any new issues. CPS has given the CTU a historic deal by any measure. Parents and students deserve better than this. Our city deserves better.
Yeah, whatever. But she said, Jesse Sharkey looked her in the eye, Dan, and said, this is it. These are the 6 issues. This is what we want. And she said, okay, now they're adding another issue. Because that's what thugs do. Thugs keep chewing away. You give me an inch. No, I want a foot now. They're disgusting human beings. And no, she's a novice. That she's new at this. I understand.
Excuse me. Did you say she laid down the hammer?
She was trying to last night. She laid down the hammer. But she
please.
is meeting with them at 10 o'clock this morning.
Please.
To discuss more issues.
Right. You've caved. You opened with surrender. And then you've continued your surrender as more issues were piled on. And now we're supposed to believe your tough talk over compensation for 10 days they were out? What are you talking about? Billions of dollars in other people's money you just conferred, and now you're drawing the red line over 10 days of comp for the time teachers were out? Tough talk, laying down the hammer. What are you talking about? This is, again, a celebration of the Chicago Teachers Union victory for the Chicago Teachers Union. And the idea that Lori Lightfoot and the Teachers Union are two sides, unless you're talking about the same coin, there is no appropriate description of this as two sides. Appease, appease, appease. Defer, defer, defer. Capitulate, capitulate, capitulate. And the apparatchiks ran roughshod over her. Period. Full stop. That's what happened.
Listen to this. These 2 English teachers who want to get back to work. And it's not about the kids, Dan. It's because their insurance is running out. Just listen carefully.
The concern is insurance. I'm concerned about the children and their learning. I'm also concerned about us with our bills.
I need my medication. If I don't get it, I might be up out of here.
They were interviewed, but they disguised their faces. Didn't tell anybody their names.
Mary Kay in Western Springs, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, gosh, hello. It's I love you guys, and I listen to you every day. I was infuriated yesterday when I listened to 2 public school teachers being interviewed on another radio station talking about how important their job is and how hard they work. Mm-hmm. They have to prepare. They have to plan. They have to do their job 24/7 like nobody else does. Nobody else works hard. Nobody else works seven days a week. They do not work 7 days a week. They do not work for a full year, and I cannot listen to them talk about it anymore.
They work 177
They think they're special.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
they're not.
Baloney.
They're thugs.
Baloney.
Yeah.
They don't, and I'm so sick of listening to it. I can't stand it, Dan. I can't listen to it anymore. I just want to get in there. I want someone to get in their face and tell them they're wrong. I want the parents. The parents won't do it either.
The parents did it. The parents are starting to confront teachers on the street, so to speak, for a little street justice.
But are they going to vote out you always talk about they won't vote out the people in control. They're not going to do it. They're all Democrats. They're going to keep you guys. It's not going to it's never going to happen. Illinois sucks. Mm-hmm. I want to get out of here more. Sean from Elmwood Park is my husband's cousin. I have known Sean since he was a kid.
Oh,
I love Sean.
Sorry.
Oh, I know. I know you probably feel sorry for me, but Sean, I listen all the time. I come to some of your events and I see Sean there, and he loves that we're on the same. We think the same because no one else in our family does. But Anyway, I just want to thank you for being on the radio, being on Flannery Fired Up or whatever, because you teach me a ton, and I'm now not nearly as smart as you, Dan. But I mean, I might be as smart as you, Amy. Yeah, that's a real.
All right. Well, thanks, Mary Kay from Western Spring. Is that your Twitter handle?
Mary Kay Smart. She's saying you two are smart.
Okay.
Thanks for the call, Mary Kay. Appreciate it.
Real quick, here's Lori Lightfoot trying to lay down the hammer again last night.
My understanding is the CTU has said 10 days or nothing. Take it or leave it. So hold on one second. So where we are right now is I'm not compensating them for days that they were out on strike. I was very clear about that from day one. Yes, sir.
Did you do a fraction of those days if they...
I'm not going to negotiate. Yeah. We gave them a deal on the table. They said these were the issues. We met them where they were, and that's it. Yes, ma'am.
We gave away the store, but I'll be damned if I'm giving up my parking space. I'm keeping the parking space. That's where I draw the line.
Oh, and CTU responded, because they've been tweeting a lot, that she's been very dangerous territory by making such comments.
Yeah.
I mean,
what
seriously.
What I hear Lori Lightfoot is saying is, we'll write you the check for the 10 days.
Right. Well, we'll see what happens. It happens at 10 a.m. today, the big meeting.
Uh-huh. In terms of parents turning on the teachers, yeah. Katie Birmingham has two daughters in CPS, said she was behind the teachers when they started the walkout, remains a supporter. She said she applauds the teachers' union's mission to improve school conditions citywide. Her daughters attend Lane Tech and Bell School.
Oh, Bell, that's where they did the fun Michael Jackson
Thriller
child molester video, yeah.
And she was happy to see them do that.
Great.
She believes CTU is being shown in a bad light. So, again, CTU knows exactly what they're doing. They know exactly who they're doing it for. They know precisely how much city support they have. And that is why a small group of people, as has always been the case throughout the annals of history, runs over a docile, indifferent, staid, larger group of people. That's what's actually happening and happened. Greg in Jefferson Park.
Hey, good morning, guys. Bell School. That's where John Arena's kids went to grammar school, the guy who lives a block and a half from Portage Park School. You know what? I think it's time for Manly Girl to grow a set. What she should have done a couple days ago when CTU came around and said, oh, yeah, by the way, we want an extra half hour less of teaching a day, she should have said, okay, you know what, we'll just stop the negotiations for now and get back to it next Monday when the teachers lose a month of their health insurance.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, this is the most ridiculous thing in the world. You know, she and our police chief talk about, Chicago values. Maybe they learned something from President Trump about negotiating and when to walk away from something. This is just ridiculous. She should have been going on Twitter and all this other stuff and showing people what these people get in pensions and how little they put into them. But what do we get? We get the shaft. That's what we get.
We get the bill is what we get. We get the bill,
Thanks for the call,
and that's
Greg.
the problem.
Mm-hmm. In a related story, math and reading scores for 4th and 8th graders in the United States dropped. It have dropped since 2017. The decrease in reading achievement has NAEP researchers particularly concerned. Over the past decade, there's been no progress in either math or reading performance, and the lowest performing students are actually doing worse. A 3-point decline for the country is substantial, in as much as 31 states are driving it, large states and small states. It's a very meaningful decline, said the researchers. The declines in both reading, the declines in reading in both grades, 4th and 8th, were seen at all levels of achievement, whether students were high or low achieving, with the very narrow exception of the highest achieving 4th graders. 600,000 kids across the country. The wonders of your public K through 12 systems, that is being driven, maybe driven in large states and small states, but I would submit to you that it's being largely driven by the big urban school systems in large states and medium-sized states. Larry in Bartlett.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. I'm definitely not taking sides here, so don't misunderstand me. Isn't there a state law that mandates the number of days students are supposed to be in school?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you miss more than 10, that's you start, or 9, then you have to start the makeup days. So technically, this is day 11, so we have to make up 2 days. But now Lori Lightfoot, it's a long. I mean, it's the teachers want to be paid for the time they were on strike. They don't care about the kids. They don't want
And then also, don't they get paid for the number of students per school day? So if they were closed for 10 days, that means the state should be cutting back a whole bucket full of money from the CPS for that too, shouldn't it?
It's your average daily attendance over the course of the school year that drives this school aid formula, Larry. Thanks for the call. Ed in Oak Brook.
Yeah, you know what? I'm listening to all these crybabies that are calling in, and I don't know what to do, Dan. Well, you should ask them, who did they vote for? And did anyone ever think that this lady was going to be able to negotiate against the teachers' union? And why hate the union? They just took advantage of a clown. So there should be no hate for the union. There should be no love for them, but they just took advantage. So when these people call up, start crying and whining, I don't know what to do, Dan. Ask them who they voted for, and they shouldn't have voted for either Preckwinkle or this clown. And because, you know what, the more votes they got, they gave them a mandate to be as stupid as they are. So have a nice day and ask these people, who'd you vote for?
Thanks for the call, Ed.
Didn't CTU give Toni Preckwinkle $500,000 for her campaign?
It's $300,000. So what? Ed makes a good point. This is just the frog and the scorpion parable. Why did the scorpion sting the frog? It's in his nature. Why did CTU do what they did? Because it's in their nature. That's it. Simple. Why are you getting so worked up? Why are you pretending like you don't know a scorpion's a scorpion?
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll switch gears and talk about the possibility of the whistleblower in the Ukraine Trump call being exposed at 5:38.
And later, how goats saved Reagan. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Snow and 32 degrees at 5:29 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A massive fire caused by a cooking gas stove exploded Thursday on a train traveling in Pakistan's eastern Punjab province. It has killed at least 71 so far. South Korean military officials say North Korea has fired 2 unidentified projectiles toward the Sea of Japan. South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff say the military there is monitoring the situation. Japanese exclusive economic zone monitors say they may have been ballistic missiles. House Republicans are slamming Democrats for their impeachment resolution. Democrat resolution passed Wednesday authorizes little more than more public hearings and offers some guidelines for questioning of witnesses in the Democrat-led inquiry. California Representative Norma Torres.
Republicans say that they have been locked out of hearings, but let's get the facts straight here. 1/3 of the Republican caucus has been an active participant in the classified briefings.
Multiple reports say Democrats and Republicans actually got into a massive shouting match behind closed doors yesterday while interviewing a witness in the Democrat-led impeachment inquiry. Twitter says no more political advertising. CEO Jack Dorsey on Twitter saying the ban begins in November. Another parent heading to jail in the college admissions scandal. California businessman Jeffrey Bizak was sentenced to 2 months behind bars. Ford and the UAW reached a deal that would avoid a strike. Negotiations continued on both sides late into the day yesterday, and they hammered out a tentative deal that would have avoided a long and expensive strike like one that hit GM. Drivers here should plan on more slippery road conditions. Throughout the area, winter weather advisory is in effect for both this morning and this afternoon as trick-or-treaters head out this Halloween afternoon. Cook, DuPage, Lake McHenry, Kane counties all experiencing snowfall throughout the day. 10 or more local communities have rescheduled trick-or-treating due to the snow and cold. Chicago teachers remain on strike today despite accepting a tentative agreement with CPS. The union voting yesterday to accept that tentative deal, but is refusing to return to the classroom until Mayor Lightfoot agrees to make up and compensate teachers for all the school days missed during the walkout.
This is a mayor who has felt personally affronted and challenged by the fact that teachers have been on picket lines. It was never personal.
Mayor Lightfoot fired back, saying she will not compensate the union for the days they were on strike. As a result, CPS has canceled classes for an 11th school day in a row. Uber is taking legal action to challenge attacks on a ride-hailing service in Skokie. Uber is asking the court to block the village from collecting a 15-cent tax for shared rides and a 35-cent tax for individual rides. Illinois is a step closer to allowing some college athletes to be paid. The Illinois House yesterday okayed a plan that would allow college athletes to cash in on their likeness or name. That plan heads to the Senate. The move is not a big bombshell at all, or as much as it would have been a week ago, because the NCAA has asked its members to draw up plans that would essentially allow for the same thing. Any bill would have to conform to NCAA rule modifications. Cavaliers over the Bulls, 117-111. Blackhawks travel to face the Kings in Los Angeles Saturday night. 5:33 is our time, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The average commute in America is about 25 minutes. And if you spend more of that time on a train, bus,
next stop, Lake Street,
or bike, Allstate has good news. Pay per mile car insurance is here.
On your left.
Because if you drive less, you should pay less. Now get the same reliable coverage and hands-on expertise you'd expect from Allstate, but at a price that's tailored to the miles you drive.
The doors are now closing.
Call your local Allstate agent and start paying what's right for you. Prices daily and per mile rate, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-600-5451. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-600-5451. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-600-5451. 1-800-600-5451.
Hi, this is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. Is the lack of having enough money in the bank holding you back from buying a home? The state of Illinois is helping first-time home buyers with this issue with a program you can only get through a limited number of lenders that's hand-picked by the state, and I'm one of those preferred lenders. This program is a grant up to $10,000 to help you with your down payment and also cover closing costs. Stop paying your landlord's mortgage and get on the path to buying your own home. Since this is a grant program, funding can run out at any time, so call now and reach out to me personally. Just pick up the phone and call 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN to reach me personally, or visit me on the web at windmortgage.com. That's windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162.
5:36. Let's get an update on the messy morning commute this Halloween. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Jim Telemonte.
In Elgin, westbound 20, Lake Street remains closed. 25 to St. Charles in Elgin to clean up an earlier wreck. Seeing delays already on the inbound Stevenson, Cicero to Kedzie, and Ashland to the Ryan. It's 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 17 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, 20 minutes, 80-94 to the Verge. Also seeing a little congestion on the inbound Eisenhower now through the avenues. Speeds are reduced with the conditions. Tollway traffic moves well. Southbound 53 is heavy. Palatine Road to Northwest Highway after an earlier crash. Metro will have more outbound trains leaving before the afternoon rush today on several lines. For Halloween, that's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cold, snow, rain changing to snow across the Southland this morning. South of I-80, still some rain, but that will change over to all snow. Very windy this afternoon in northwest Indiana, where a wind advisory has just been put up. High of 34. 32 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with Stephen Leahy. Every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Madigan runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said, when you're moving out. Ponzi, Oski. Now Sergeant O'Leary, he's a walking the beach. He's catching pigs in at age 50. With 3% COLA raises year after year. And his side job, he's got double dipping. While the working stiff are dying, having heart attack, trying to save their home. I never seen a tax that the teachers won't back to keep all the pension checks coming. See, it's always been the grand design to have a taxpayer-funded bailout. It's not a matter of if anymore, but when. You're moving out. I said, when you're moving out. Ponzi, ski. Now never argue money with a union, my. They think you can't stop them now. Read Article 13, Section number 5, to see how they're stolen your money. So are you part of the grand design? Oh, 'cause that's what it's all about. And I know a good luck moving up, 'cause I'm moving out. I said I'm moving out.
I think on the occasion of the tentative deal between the teachers union and the city, we should hear the full moving out theme song. And
it's awesome.
Because it's probably something a lot of people are contemplating, the combination of this contract plus Lightfoot's budget address plus what's going on at the state level, including the fair tax that's on the ballot in November of 2020.
Don't make me cry today.
Don and Paula Parker.
Yes.
Don and Paula Parker. They moved in. Well, they moved back in.
Help with the grandkids, or.
And that was a big mistake. The Parkers were born and raised in Rockford. Don ran a house painting business in the Rockford area for many years, while Paula worked in an unemployment office. In their late 30s, they moved to northern Wisconsin, where Don was in law enforcement. 15 years later, they moved to Florida, where Don was self-employed as a handyman. I wish Don was still back down in Florida. We need more handyman down in the Naples area, Don.
Yeah, that's what Sean was saying, too.
Apollo worked full-time in healthcare in Florida. When it was finally time to retire, they made the fateful decision to come home to be nearer to family.
Yeah.
In 2016, they left Florida for Poplar Grove, which is just outside of Rockford in Boone County. And 3 years later,
what?
They're regretting that decision, as Don explains.
We found our place here and it seemed fine, so we decided to move back in 2016. We're getting by right now, kind of barely, but when it comes to all these new taxes, raising fees and other taxes, people like us who cannot afford it, who are on a pretty strict, tight budget, we just simply can't keep up with it. What are we to do? I've been trying to keep track of a large list of taxes that have already come into play. The gas tax, which has already been imposed. They're talking about this bag tax. They're talking about the progressive tax. They're talking about a rain tax, a mileage tax, TV tax, beer and tobacco tax, which I assume some of that's already in play, a farm tax, a parking tax, a car trade-in tax. If many more of those go into effect, it's going to force us to have to leave Illinois and go to Wisconsin, Iowa, someplace else, because we simply, on our budget, we simply cannot stay here and afford to pay that.
It's too much. I have a friend that I work with in my other job. She moved. She lived on Foster, around that area, in Irving. Foster and Damon, excuse me. Her taxes, Dan, went from $4,000 to $14,000. Then this summer jumped to $18,000, and she moved. It's insane.
Donna has a question.
It seems like no one cares about the people like us, as far as seniors, lower income people. It's a very sad situation.
But aren't we a democratic state, and don't they care about the less fortunate and the seniors and the disabled and the minorities and the children? Oh, we care about the kiddies.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Don, right? Doesn't seem like anybody here cares about lower to middle income people. Doesn't care about the seniors. They spend so much time patronizing when they're running for office.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with families, with the person with developmental disabilities. The same thing with minorities in places like Rockford, by the way. Not just Chicago, but it includes Chicago, of course. Is that Don got it about right? About put his finger on it? Doesn't seem like anybody's particularly concerned about Don and Paula and people that played by the rules their entire life, only to be fleeced from every direction if they decide to stay here to be close to family, or they otherwise can't leave for work-related or family-related reasons.
Well, if they cared, the Democrats who are in charge of this fine city, they do something about the senior property tax exemption, because it's nothing. That's why a lot of seniors have to move out, and that's why a little seniors struggle month to month, because do I buy groceries or do I pay my property tax?
Oh, I think it's a little bit bigger than the senior exemption. It's about the property tax system writ large, and that's just one of the things. It's a big one. But as you heard Don tick off all of the taxes that he's facing and bumping that up against the income they're generating in retirement, their savings, probably doesn't have the CTU deal where he put $40,000 into a 401k and then 30 years later he's enjoying a net present value $2 million pension. That's probably not Don and Paula's position. And it's probably not Don and Paula's position because, in point of fact, those lower to middle income families are on the hook for those pensions. So, of course, you have the reverse Robin Hood in Illinois, whereas as much time is spent paying lip service to Don and Paula. In point of fact, Don and Paula are being fleeced to pay the guaranteed benefit levels for people making 2 and 3 and 4 times what they make, working as well as in retirement. And I suppose probably in Don and Paula's case, they don't have a 3% COLA that compounds annually, mandated by the government. Probably not the situation there. Randy in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. This will never change in this state until people walk away and abandon their homes. The cycle is what it is. People move out of the state. That's great. But they sell their home to somebody else who assumes the tax burden, who assumes all the responsibilities, and they all complain about it. At some point, you just got to take the loss yourself, abandon your home, walk away until the state has nobody left up in Cook County. It'll never, ever change. And most of us will not just walk away and abandon an asset and take the hit like that. We want to sell the home. Now, I live in Indiana, so I don't have to deal with it.
Right.
But the people in Chicago that do this, they perpetuate it by buying those homes over and over and over again.
Hey, Randy,
Thanks
what
for
are
the
your
call,
property?
yeah. Well, we know what Randy's property taxes are because Indiana's. I mean, we don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
1% hard cap. That's all you need to know.
1% hard.
1% of property value hard cap on residential property in Indiana, which is why Randy's seeing a lot of Chicagoans move into neighborhoods around him. Candace in Mount Pleasant, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bernie, I feel that was such a sad little commercial. I feel sorry for that couple. They must not have been very involved in politics to not know what was going on.
Yes.
But
by the way, that interview,
Oh, yeah,
I
what is
should
that
give
interview?
credit. The interview brought to us by WirePoints, wirepoints.org. They did that interview with Don and Paul in
Oh,
Poplar Grove.
yes, very good, very good. I just wish they would have come to Wisconsin because I think there's a lot more. I think the politicians, thank God, are way more savvy to the seniors here. There's a lot of seniors in Wisconsin, so I wish they would have moved over the state line.
Well,
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Candace. Well, they're not too far, and they may be moving, but then they got to get out from underneath their home in Poplar Grove, and I suspect it's probably worth less than what they paid for it in 2016. That's the problem. Anthony in Plainfield.
Thanks for taking my call, Dan and Amy. The one thing Mr. Don left out was they're not just fleecing the elderly and retirees. They're hitting everybody.
Yeah.
If you're a young family trying to start the right way, you can't get off the dime. You're already behind the eight ball as far as where you're paying, and that's pretty common. And couples struggle through that, and then they move forward. But you can't do that, especially when you don't know where the tax raises are going to end. So I feel for Don, but we're all in this same mess, and my wife and I are planning our exit to Indiana. So,
thanks for the call, Anthony.
Don't take that house I've been looking at in Hammond.
Yeah, right. I mean, who isn't? I mean, you
I got the property tax $700 a year for a $219,000 home, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, nice yard. Bunky would love it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine $700 a year?
Probably a lot less pea-hat shrews in that neighborhood in Hammond too than in Lakeview.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I'm gonna when I do see the teachers. I don't know. I never want to see Jesse Sharkey in my life because I don't know what I would do.
Come on, you two.
No, it's over.
He's the hero in this
No,
story.
and you know
One
what?
of them.
Well, and I've always told you that Stacey Davis Gates has him by the cojones.
What?
Last night she pushed him out, and then was Queen Bee. Ask me questions. She was up there 3 times as long as he was.
Well,
and eventually she gonna take over for him. Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's the difference?
Terrorists. These are terrorists. This is again
You like-
what happens when unions take over government, and the kids are sitting there wondering, "Please, is this going to end?" I mean, I had more 5th graders yesterday, and I had to tell them the hard facts, like you are being used as pawns. Just know that you are loved. And then one little girl's like, "Are we ever going to go back to school?" And I said, "You will eventually, but if we don't go back next week, your season's canceled. There is no more Blaine volleyball." Okay, so it's a fluid situation. I'm always fighting for you guys. I'm always ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. And then they get back to school, and then they can be maleducated and indoctrinated to vote for the Lori Lightfoots of the world once they get
Well,
out.
I don't want to lose my volunteer job by saying this is the reason this is what happens when Democrats run a city for 100 plus years. How long have Democrats been in control in Chicago? Yeah.
I mean, I just am. I can't be stunned anymore, so I can't pretend to be stunned. But I just have to remark upon the complete indifference to what happens inside the school walls in the city. The quality of the education. Has anybody said anything about that in this whole
no.
multiple week imbroglio? Nobody
No
talks
one
about
talks
how
about it.
bad the school system is at its putative objective, which is to educate children. How is CPS doing? Has anybody asked that question? I mean, I would think you'd want some detailed answers. No, I like Mrs. Jones, my teacher, so I really don't care what's happening at the school. I mean, it seems to be the attitude. It's just jarring. And you wonder why. You wonder why CPS has a dropout rate 10x suburban school districts that have the same socioeconomic demographics. I mean, you wonder why Chicago neighborhoods have been hollowed out. You wonder why we have the highest black unemployment in the country, particularly as you go down the age demographics. I mean, the utter apathy. It's dogmatic. Dogmatic apathy sounds like an oxymoron, but everything in Chicago is an oxymoron, with emphasis on moron.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
This is attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649 or go to freeirsbook.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest-growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Albert Mohler for townhall.com. News reports came out last week that the transgender athlete Rachel McKinnon has, for the second year in a row, won the Women's Bicycling Championships in Manchester, England. McKinnon is a biological male competing as a female. That has left some female athletes upset. McKinnon pushed back in a statement we should listen to closely. Quote, all my medical records say female. My doctor treats me as a female person. My racing license says female, but people who oppose my existence still want to think of me as male. So if we want to say that I believe you're a woman for all of society except for this massive central part that is sport, then that's not fair, end quote. McKinnon has a point. We're watching a secularizing world mired in inconsistency, and whenever that inconsistency is pointed out, it's our responsibility to see it for what it is. I'm Albert Mohler.
The Pepperdine School of Public Policy, impacting policy decisions today, preparing public leaders for tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Paul Cutler, pastor of Grace Lutheran Church in Streamwood, a proud donor of AM 560's Food for the Poor campaign. Grace is a gathering of regular people who love God, love each other, and reach out to others with the love of Christ. Mercy Community, a spirit-filled black church, and Iglesia Jerusalem, an Hispanic congregation, also meet on Grace's campus. We all work together to make a difference in the world. If you've had little or no experience with church, Grace is the place for you. If you've had a less than great experience with church, Grace is the place for you. If you want to learn more about God, more about yourself, and more about life, I personally invite you to check us out at gracestheplace.net or call us at 630-289-3996 or like us on Facebook at Grace is the Place ST. That's gracestheplace.net or 630-289-3996 or like us on Facebook at Grace is the Place ST. I look forward to meeting you.
Are you tired of paying another mortgage payment for your health insurance? Did you know you're not locked into your current health plan? With non-Obamacare health plans, you may save 25 to 50% or more each month. Contact SVL Insurance Group. They recently helped a healthy family of 5 who were paying $1,800 per month for health insurance using a well-known regional insurance carrier. SVL Insurance Group was able to lower their premium to $750 per month and pick up additional coverage. There are no open enrollment periods, which means you can start or stop your health plan any time of the year. You can also cancel anytime. 2019 has been a remarkable year with the expansion of product portfolios from many insurance carriers. With the elimination of the individual mandate, you're now free to choose any health insurance plan for you and your family without the added stress of a yearly penalty. Contact SVL Insurance Group today to have a conversation and see what's best for your family. Call 224-465-8276. That's 224-465-8276. Online at svlinsurancegroup.com.
Have you been thinking about your personal estate plan or company entity plan? It's extremely important that families and business owners strongly consider whether your personal estate plan or business entity plan is optimized for your individual needs. There are many elements, including proper wills and trusts, asset protection, taxes, probate, and more that require professional expertise. With over 4 decades of experience, the professionals at Dank, Walter & Angelo have provided exemplary legal services to thousands of individuals, families, and hundreds of businesses. Dank, Walter & Angelo, attorneys at law, are offering qualified AM 560 listeners a free, no-obligation estate planning consultation. They will review your existing documents and make recommendations regarding these important documents, including wills, living wills, trusts, financial power of attorney, and healthcare power of attorney, plus HIPAA, real estate business owners, LLCs, and more. To schedule your free estate planning consultation, visit reviewmyestateplanfree.com. That's reviewmyestateplanfree.com. Don't delay. Peace of mind is a click away. That's reviewmyestateplanfree.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Well, this hasn't happened in 95 years. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A Washington baseball team won the World Series.
How's that make you feel? Great right now, super. We took it home. The Nats won this in 7. I was ecstatic.
The Nationals beat the Astros 6-2 in Game 7 in Houston. It's the Nationals' first ever championship, the last D.C. team to win baseball's title, the Senators, in 1924. In Washington today, a vote in the House to move forward with the Trump investigation.
All they want to do is impeach the president so that he can run as an impeached president.
Republican Congressman Doug Collins insists the president did nothing wrong in his call with Ukraine's leader. Democrats disagree, think he violated his oath of office, asking for an investigation into Joe Biden and his son. Today, Tim Morrison will be questioned, the National Security Council's Russia expert who'll be leaving that job. Republicans keep objecting to these depositions in private as illegitimate, but Democratic Congressman Dan Kildee told the Fox News Rundown,
there will be a more than adequate opportunity for public hearings. All of this testimony will be scrutinized in public.
North Korea is flexing its military muscle again. Fox's Simon Owen has the details live.
Dave, there had been speculation a North Korean launch was coming, and now South Korea and Japan say they've detected 2 weapons being fired into the sea. Japan thinks they were ballistic missiles. It's North Korea's first weapons test since a new round of talks with the US on nuclear weapons broke down earlier this month. North Korea has been voicing frustration in recent days at the state of that diplomatic process. Dave?
Simon, there are thousands who remain evacuated from a wildfire that's burning in Southern California, not far from the Reagan Library, which has been protected so far. The fire in Sonoma County that's burned down nearly 100 homes, that is nearly half contained now. America's listening to Fox News.
Snow and 32 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Drivers need to plan for slippery road conditions, not just this morning, but this afternoon, as well as some spots will get hit with up to 4 inches of snow. A winter weather advisory is in effect as the trick-or-treaters head out for Halloween this afternoon. 10 or more local communities, though, have rescheduled trick-or-treating due to the snow, wind, and cold. The head of the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago is stepping down. Anne Promotional resigned as chair last week. Her resignation comes after she abruptly retired as CEO of Exelon Utilities earlier this month amid a widening federal probe of lobbyist activities. Promotional is one focus of that widening FBI probe into lobbying and payoffs. sparked by the corruption probe of Senator Marty Sandoval. Chicago teachers will remain on strike today despite accepting a tentative agreement with CPS. Chicago Teachers Union voting yesterday to accept that tentative deal, but they're refusing to return to class until the mayor agrees to make up and compensate teachers for walking out of class.
This is a mayor who has felt personally affronted and challenged by the fact that teachers have been on picket lines. It was never personal.
Jesse Sharkey. In other news we're following this morning, a man accused of firing the bullet that went through the open window of a Chicago home, through a wall, then fatally wounding an 11-year-old girl has been acquitted. Tevin Lee was found not guilty of first-degree murder and aggravated discharge of a firearm in the 2014 death of Shemaiah Adams. There's a big shakeup in the beer business. Molson Coors is moving its North American headquarters from Denver to Chicago and slashing hundreds of jobs. Cavaliers got by the Bulls 117-111. Blackhawks travel to face the Kings in L.A. Saturday night. The news service of Indeed.com, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dr. David Kolbaba. I know, the holiday season is coming right for us.
It's coming right for us!
Yep, but I got to tell you about our special holiday survival event. So you want to make this year better and lower the stress and strain of it all? Well, it just might be what the doctor ordered at our holiday survival event, where we're going to share some practical common sense strategies to make it all happen. We're going to cover it all. And of course, have some fun. And you'll leave this event with awesome alternatives, making for less stress and more fun this holiday season. So are you up for something special? It's our holiday survival event, Saturday afternoon, November the 9th. Call our Health Quest radio hotline to make your reservation. Call 800-794-1855. Make this holiday season something to remember on the positive side of things.
So live a life you will remember.
That's 800-794-1855. And remember to listen to Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, heard every Saturday morning at 11 right here on AM 560, The Answer. That's 800-794-1855.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Dr. Bob Arnott, and I treat pain with Salonpas. Before you take anything for back or joint pain, I recommend applying topical pain relievers first, like Salonpas lidocaine patch. Salonpas lidocaine contains the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription. It blocks pain receptors, providing effective, long-lasting, and non-addictive relief. Also available in roll-on or cream. Look for the silver Salonpas box in the pain relief aisle. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Protect your pets from leaving your yard at a fraction of the cost of a privacy fence. Now until October 31st, save $315 on Boundary Plus technology. Only from Invisible Fence brand. Go to invisiblefence.com today and save. That's invisiblefence.com.
It is 6:07, AM 560 traffic center time. Jim Telemonte.
A mix of snow, sleet, and rain is again slowing the commute across the area. We see delays on the inbound Eisenhower starting at Man-High. It is a 38-minute trip, 390 to downtown, outbound 32. Edens is okay. Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Inbound Stevenson, looking at 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 22 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 433. Northbound Tri-State is tight approaching the Eisenhower. The other tollways are okay. Southbound 53, a little heavy. Palatine Road to Northwest Highway. Metro will have more trains leaving downtown early this afternoon for Halloween. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, our meteorologist Steve Williams.
A winter weather advisory in effect today. Clouds breezy and cold. Some snow and rain at times this morning. Snow this afternoon, according to an inch accumulation, high 34. Clear, windy, and cold tonight, low 21. And then partly sunny, breezy, and chilly tomorrow, the high 40. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
31 degrees officially at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Real Clear Investigations, realclearinvestigations.com has blown the whistle on the whistleblower. And the information we're about to discuss probably informs the positions you've heard taken by a number of Republican senators over the last couple days. There is no way I'm voting to convict and remove President Trump from office if Democrats send over an impeachment charge to the Senate for trial. You heard from Rick Scott, Florida. You heard from David Perdue, Georgia. You hear from Lindsey Graham, who was on with Hannity.
Yeah, well, it's even deeper. You have to accept that President Trump is president. That's the problem. They don't accept that President Trump won the election. And America hates a sore loser as much as any country on the planet. This is an unfair process being driven by sore losers, and there's not one vote in the United States Senate to impeach President Trump based on this phone call because he did nothing wrong.
Not one vote in the United States Senate, meaning United States Senate. Republicans, of course.
Right.
Not
but there's
one
so
vote.
much chatter that, it's like 20 plus Republicans are going to switch over.
You have this resolution the Democrats in the House are leveling up today. That is still unfair. According to proponents of an impeachment hearing, like Quinn Hillier, Washington Examiner, who we talked about earlier in this week, President Trump deserves to face an impeachment hearing, but his Republican defenders are right that Democrats still aren't promising a fair process. As it stands right now, the resolution that we referenced yesterday, and I read the pertinent part, is woefully inadequate, nonsensical, and unjust, writes Hillier. It leaves the wrong committee largely in charge of the process. It affords Republican congressmen too little opportunity to call witnesses. It keeps too many of the proceedings behind closed doors, and it still does not provide any specifics as to when and how the president's own counsel will be allowed to rebut allegations against him, and that's what Schiff advertised from the beginning. Any effort to defend yourself, we will categorize as obstructing justice. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're supposed to sit back and take it. Well, the other development we've had with respect to how this all started with this whistleblower, as he has been termed, and believe it's a he, and believe we know his name. The other development there is, he's irrelevant now.
Well, yeah, that's what Adam Schiff said. The whistleblower's testimony, it's not necessary because we have to protect his identity. That's the number one priority, Dan.
Well, Paul Sperry and RealClearInvestigations.com disagrees, and they've got a pretty good idea who it is, and they're naming names. They're naming the name. Even though, as Sperry reports, it's an open secret inside the Beltway. Of course it is, because nothing's a secret inside the Beltway.
That's why President Trump didn't tell Nancy Pelosi about the raid.
Right. Eric Ciaramella is his name, allegedly.
Common spelling.
2004 Connecticut prep student who moved on to Yale and then the White House.
Oh.
His name has been raised privately in impeachment depositions, according to officials with direct knowledge of the proceedings, reports Paul Sperry, as well as in at least one open hearing held by a House committee not involved in the impeachment inquiry. Fearing their anonymous witness could be exposed, Democrats this week blocked Republicans from asking more questions about him and intend to redact his name from all deposition transcripts. So this is what Republicans are talking about when you have CNN and MSNBC and the Beltway Big Government Press Corps running interference for the Democrats. Well, there's Republicans on these committees, so it's fair. You can ask questions. You can raise issues. Well, not exactly. Actually, you can't. You also don't have subpoena power, as would be afforded if this were a process that was consistent with historical precedent. Facts. Share with your friends who are lapping up whatever the media scoop is serving them. Federal documents reveal, this is more from Paul Sperry's report, that the 33-year-old Ciaramella, a registered Democrat, held over from the Obama White House, previously worked with former Vice President Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And former CIA Director John Brennan.
Oh, there you go. The mean man. He looks so angry all the time.
So he was very concerned about the phone call because he thought it was a quid pro quo that was President Trump leveraging American foreign policy for his narrow political ends. And then we find out he's inherently conflicted if this report is true because of his prior working relationship with Joe Biden, the man mentioned at the center of all this alleged wrongdoing by Trump.
They also said that he's a vocal critic of Trump who helped initiate the Russian collusion investigation of the Trump campaign during 2016.
We'll get to that. Ciaramella left his NSC post in the White House West Wing in mid-2017. He since returned to CIA headquarters in Langley. He worked with a Democrat National Committee operative who dug up dirt on the Trump campaign during the 2016 election. The operative, Alexandra Chalupa, a Ukrainian American who supported Hillary Clinton, led an effort to link the Republican campaign to the Russian government. He knows her. He had her in the White House, said one former coworker who requested anonymity to discuss the matter. Sperry goes on that interest in the intelligence analyst has become so high inside the Beltway that a handful of former colleagues have compiled a roughly 40-page dossier on him.
Oh, there you go.
The worm has turned. A classified version of the document is circulating on Capitol Hill. One brief Republican has been planning to unmask a whistleblower in a speech on the House floor. It hasn't happened yet. Fred Fleitz, who we've had on this show, former CIA analyst, Trump advisor. Everyone knows who he is, confirming that Ciaramella is the whistleblower. They're hiding him. They're hiding him because of his political bias, Fred Fleitz added. Federal records show that Biden's office invited Ciaramella to an October 2016 state luncheon the vice president hosted for Italian PM Matteo Renzi. Other invited guests included Brennan, Comey, Clapper. Several U.S. officials told Paul Sperry, Real Clear Investigations, that the invitation that was extended to Ciaramella, a relatively low-level GS-13 federal employee, was unusual and signaled he was politically connected inside the Obama White House. A low-level GS-13 federal employee invited to a state dinner by Biden's office with agency heads, Comey, Clapper, Brennan. Former White House officials said Ciaramella worked on Ukrainian policy issues for Biden in 2015 and 2016, when, of course, Biden was Obama's point man for Ukraine. He had been assigned to the NSC by John Brennan. Going back to what you referenced, Amy, him being in part the originator of the Russian collusion.
Mm-hmm.
In May of 2017, Paul Sperry reports, Ciaramella went outside of his chain of command, according to a former NSC coworker, to send an email alerting another agency that Trump happened to hold a meeting with Russian diplomats in the Oval Office the day after firing Comey. The email also noted that Putin had phoned the president a week earlier. Contents of the email have ended up in the media, which reported Trump boasted to Russian officials about firing Comey, whom he allegedly called a crazy and a real nut job. Well, that sounds like something Trump would say. In effect, though, as Sperry suggests, he doesn't suggest it, he writes it explicitly, Ciaramella helped generate the Putin fired Comey narrative. That's in this dossier on Ciaramella that's making the rounds in Congress, and Real Clear Investigations obtained a copy of it. This sounds like a dossier that actually has some
teeth,
some substantiation, unlike the one circulating on Trump, including via Comey. He wouldn't return calls. Of course, the attorneys for the unnamed whistleblower wouldn't return calls or messages from Paul Sperry. He did talk to Paul Sperry, did though, Ciaramella's dad.
Oh, really?
And his dad said he didn't have access to that kind of information. He's just a guy going to work every day. Well, of course, your dad's not going to rat you out, but
good answer, Pops.
During Tuesday's deposition of Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, Democrats shut down a line of inquiry by Republicans because they had said it risked revealing the identity of the whistleblower. This is in part what Steve Scalise was referencing when he said Republicans trying to ask questions and Adam Schiff playing judge and defense counsel, interceding to say to the witness, Vindman, you don't have to answer those questions. Republicans wanted to know whom Vindman spoke within the administration about his concerns regarding Trump's call to Ukraine. That's when Schiff instructed Vindman not to answer. Earlier this year, Schiff, who of course had contact with Ciaramella before it became known that there was this complaint that was filed, this whistleblower complaint filed, if Ciaramella is the guy. Schiff recruited two of Ciaramella's closest allies at the NSC to join his House Intelligence Committee staff. He hired one, Sean Misko, in August, the same month that the whistleblower complaint was filed. During closed-door depositions taken in the impeachment inquiry, Misko has been observed handing notes to the lead counsel for the impeachment inquiry as he asked questions of Trump administration witnesses. And again, Schiff and his allies are interceding and redacting as necessary any references to Ciaramella in these behind closed doors Star Chamber proceedings. So now you know who the whistleblower is. Now you know what in all likelihood, at least this is grist for the mill if we're going to have a wide-ranging, transparent conversation, investigation, potential trial to remove a president from office.
Well, why are
and you know how the gambit the House Democrats are pursuing today with their non-impeachment impeachment resolution, as Nancy Pelosi essentially suggested it was.
And now that we know who he is, and everybody knew who he was anyway in D.C. in the bubble there, just have him testify. Well, why do we have to protect his identity?
Well, I mean,
what is there fear of retaliation? Is there a safety issue now?
Well, the question is,
this is all we've all processed. This, it's all right.
The argument would be from the Democrats. Well, okay, so say he had a political bias. So, say all the things in Paul Sperry's report are true. The transcript of the call speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And we don't need the whistleblower to interpret it for us. We can interpret it ourselves, and we can interpret it through the understandings of Trump administration officials. And so the whistleblower is irrelevant. He just pointed this up, and the fact that he has relationships with, ostensibly has relationships with Biden, what's the big deal? It doesn't matter. Judge it on the merits. Don't judge it on who brought it forth.
Well, that lieutenant colonel, though, that testified the other day, said allegedly, I guess, because we don't really know exactly what happened behind closed doors, said that words were left out of those transcripts. More questions about Biden were left out. But I don't believe that.
Well, I don't know. I know that's
the thing, because this isn't made public, so this is all hearsay.
That's reportedly what he said. That's right.
Yeah.
So, does it matter? Well, what if it's a small fifth column action inside the intelligence community, and this was the opportunity to strike at Trump again, since the Russian collusion gambit had failed? That fifth column action failed. And this was a chance for young Eric Ciaramella and some of his friends to be, heroes of the left. What if that was the motivation? It doesn't make the call. It doesn't change the transcript of the call. So what's the problem, right? What's the problem if you just have people that are looking for an opportunity to jackpot the president, and they happen to be in national security agencies? Is that a problem? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Margot in Burr Ridge.
Oh, hi. Well, this that you just reported that he went to this dinner, this state dinner given by Biden. Why is Biden giving a state dinner? Excuse me, he's not in office, nor are Comey.
No, this was back in
the rest of them.
No, this was back in 2016 when he was.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, but the purpose, I keep wondering, why are all these people coming forward? I mean, because they're going to be the heroes of the left when the left gets in power again. And number two, they're not afraid of being charged with sedition. They think there is going to be no consequence for them. Trump had better make sure there is a consequence. I mean, all the Republicans better make sure there is a consequence. They need to lose their pensions. They should go to jail. They probably won't. But they need, at the very least, to lose their pensions and any seniority, any kind of job security they have. They need to lose all of that. And it needs to be very public. They need to be made examples of, because this is going to keep on going. It started with Lois Lerner, and it's going on right now. So they need.
Sorry, Margaret, I didn't mean to cut you off. Thanks for the call. Lois, going back to weaponizing the IRS, which, ironically, that was one of the things Nixon tried to do, remember? But with Obama, impeachable, it's not even enough for us to pay attention to. And, of course, nobody at IRS was disciplined. We forget about that. I agree with what Margot said, too, about the need for some accountability. And maybe that's coming with the Durham investigation. And maybe that Durham investigation, criminal investigation, noteworthy, criminal investigation, maybe we're getting closer. Bill Barr, when he was in Chicago with Trump earlier this week, offered some comments on the Durham investigation. And the cooperation Durham has received from Christopher Wray over at FBI, which is an important point to note.
Durham, who's the U.S. Attorney for Connecticut, is in charge of the investigation, and I understand he's making great progress. As you know, he's a 35-year veteran of the department, great reputation for nonpartisanship. He was selected by two Democratic attorney generals to do sensitive investigations for them. He's a by-the-book kind of guy. He's thorough and fair, and I'm confident he's going to get to the bottom of things. We'll let the chips fall where they may. I think they all know John Durham's reputation, and we'll just see how it turns out. But I do want to say that one of the reasons Mr. Durham is able to make the kind of progress he's making is because Director Wray and his team at the FBI have just been outstanding in the support and responsiveness they've given.
Can't wait to see the progress report. Joe in Naperville.
Yeah, Martin was right. That which you don't condemn, you condone. And, I think Trump should actually have a civil suit against these people. This way there would be full discovery and a lot of disclosure. You just can't let this stuff run amok. It's going to ruin our system.
Thanks, Joe.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply.
Help! Seriously, I am too young for hair loss.
My hairline keeps creeping back. Receding?
I've got this bald spot.
It's thinning everywhere.
I'm gonna have to give up and shave it.
Dude,
Put down the razor, because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, is about to give you your real hair back permanently. Don't ignore the signs of hair loss. Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit that reveals all the signs, and a free gift card to anyone who texts SECRET to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Using the latest technology, Bosley's solution to hair loss is permanent and protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Plus, since Bosley has new non-surgical options, you owe it to yourself to text now for an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off, no matter what level of hair loss you have. Text SECRET to 85850. That's SECRET to 85850.
Our listeners have helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. And as a way of paying it forward and giving back, Mike Lindell, the CEO and creator of MyPillow, is offering deep discounts on all MyPillow products. Right now, you can get a MyPillow for $29.99, and that is what our technical producer, Justin Kosick, did, taking advantage of these deep discounts. And how are you sleeping so far, friend?
My sleep has been changed, and I think I got a new dog this week, and I think my new dog likes the MyPillow because she always goes and takes my MyPillow. She doesn't have a pet bed yet, but I think it's her way of telling me she wants the pet bed.
And the best part about the pet bed is that you can put it in the washer and dryer. And what's your dog's name again? Wait, Dan, Dan freaked out when he heard his dog's name.
Well, it's not. I'm not holding
it's called
him
Cartwheel?
to account because it's Somersault. Right? That's the name.
Somersault is the name of the dog, but that was given by the shelter.
Right, the shelter. So it's good he got a shelter dog, number one. Number two, he can change the name. And so have you changed the name yet?
No, we're just going to keep it the same because it's easy,
why?
it's cute. I think it's cute.
Somersault? What are you, like backflip or half bike?
That's animal cruelty.
Oh, it's not. But you know what you should do? Put 3 names that you like and then have him walk into the room and he could walk to his name.
That's a terrible idea.
Oh, I've done that all the time with my dogs. Not dogs, animals, mostly cats. They just walk to the name that they like.
I'm just going to leave a trail of treats going to Somersault.
Well, anyway, back to the live read. If you go to mypillow.com, Justin, and type Amy, AMY, you can get 30% off that pet bed and treat yourself to some Giza cotton sheets. Come on, you deserve it. mypillow.com, promo code Amy.
Helping our troops to be their best means ensuring they get the right level of physical activity, nutrition, and importantly, sleep. And if you're sharing barracks, then the enemy of sleep is snoring. To snore less, use Mute. Mute is an easy-to-use nasal breathing device designed to increase airflow through the nose by gently opening the airways. Thanks to Mute, you'll get all the air you need through your nose and not your mouth. So you'll snore less, sleep more, and everyone in your barracks or your bedroom will be happier. Whatever your mission in life, if you want to be at your best, win the battle against snoring with Mute.
Available at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and other fine stores. To find your local store or for more information, go to mutesnoring.com. Mute. Breathe more, snore less, sleep better.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 6:36, Kanye West is tired of white liberals telling him who he's supposed to be and for whom he's supposed to vote.
And later, we will get to it. It's a crazy story, but goats actually saved the Reagan Library. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Drivers plan ahead. Slippery road conditions this morning around the Chicago area. 31 degrees at 6:31. National Weather Service says wet snow is expected throughout much of the area. Some areas by the end of the day could see up to 4 inches. A winter weather advisory is in effect as the little trick-or-treaters head out this Halloween afternoon in Cook, DuPage, Lake, McHenry, and Kane counties. 10 or more local communities have rescheduled trick-or-treating due to the snow and cold. There's big news in the auto industry this morning. Fiat Chrysler and France's Peugeot have agreed to merge this morning. They're creating the world's 4th largest automaker. Huge shift in technology and footprint around the world. Massive fire caused by a cooking gas stove erupted on a train in Pakistan's eastern Punjab province. 71 at least, according to first responders, have been killed. House considers what's next in line for the impeachment inquiry today. The Democrat-led resolution authorizes some public hearings and offers some guidelines for questioning witnesses. Firefighters say they're gaining a little bit of control as fires sweep through Northern California. CAL FIRE spokesman Jonathan Cox.
We've had a long and slow season thus far before all of this, and this has been kind of the point at which we've really turned on our season.
This as the fight continues against the Kincaid fire. Another parent headed to jail in the college admissions scandal. California businessman Jeffrey Bizak sentenced to 2 months behind bars. The head of the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago stepping down. Anne Pramaggiore resigned as chair last week. Pramaggiore is one focus of the widening federal probe into lobbying and payoffs, sparked by the corruption probe of Senator Marty Sandoval. Chicago teachers remain on strike today, despite accepting a tentative agreement with the CPS. CTU voted to accept the tentative deal, but is refusing to return to the classroom until Mayor Lightfoot agrees to make up and compensate teachers for all of the school days teachers were on picket lines. Chicago sports, Cavaliers over the Bulls, 117-111. Nationals celebrating a World Series title with a 6-2 win over the Astros. The news, a service of Discover. Get your free credit scorecard today, even if you're not a Discover customer. It includes your FICO credit score. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting TOP to 350-350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 LASIK surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago. And we're offering 20% off our already low-cost services.
What's that text again?
Text TOP to 350-350. That's TOP to 350-350 to schedule your free consultation today.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. We know how important it is to take a partner in the passenger seat when you're on a long road trip. You need a trusted friend and a voice to help you navigate through the hills and valleys of your journey. We want to be that voice for you on your road to retirement.
Absolutely. Our whole team at Wealth Management Group will be by your side for the long haul.
Let Wealth Management Group be your compass and your guide to retirement.
Find us at investwithwmg.com and tune in each week to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I've been taking it for 5 years, and I have not been sick once. I tell people all the time. I went to Texas 3 years ago with my wife and my son. We were all in the same hotel room. I was sleeping in the middle of them. They were both so sick, hacking away. My daughter called from Jersey. She was sick. She threw up. I never got sick. So nobody can tell me these things don't work. I'm thrilled with it. I really am. I just don't get sick. I don't even get colds anymore. It's amazing.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
6:37 AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, some commuters are either getting a late start or staying home for Halloween. The travel times are lower than usual in most places. Not on the Bishop Ford Freeway. Traffic is jammed. Dalton Avenue all the way to the merge. It's 52 minutes, 80-90 Ford. Ryan, I-57 delay start at the Calsag Channel, 27 minutes. I-80 to the merge. The raw end runs 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Kennedy, 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The Eisenhower runs 35 minutes from 390. Mount Stevenson is 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Northbound Tri-State is heavy from 115th and Ridgeland to 87th after a crash. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center forecast. Rain and snow this morning. Afternoon snowfall. Average about 1 inch. Some areas could see up to 4 inches of snow with that winter weather advisory. High 34. Currently 31. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Tickets for Freedom Summit Chicago are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good choice. Boy, for a young man, I would expect a Robert Plant. Very nicely done. Dan and Amy, happy Halloween. And
what are you today, Dan?
I'm a guy preparing to have bats in studio at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. We got bats, we got snakes, we got millipedes, we got
not
spiders.
having millipedes.
We are having millipedes.
No, we're not.
We are having millipedes.
The email that I received said bats and snakes and spiders, and I was fine with it. I can't stand millipedes.
Well, the studio is big enough for you and the millipedes. Or
We're
at
not
least we're going
letting
to find
the
out.
millipedes
The
loose.
millipedes are going to be here, and they're going to crawl all over you.
No, they're not.
It's
You know what they're going to
808.
do? They're going to crawl on your face and into your nose. Or not, and then the other one's going to crawl into your ear.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see whose ear is sporting a millipede in the top of the 8 o'clock hour. But first, we heard from Michelle Obama and her husband Barack when they were in town for some Obamaland Gab Fest earlier in the week. How about Kanye West? He's a Chicago native.
Yeah, he's got this Sunday church thing going on where he goes around the country. It's like, and it's not, he doesn't need a church. He'll just have outdoor venues and people come. The one that he had in Chicago, they started lining up the night before, like Friday night for a Sunday service.
Yeah,
and waited in line, and it was sold out.
No,
not sold out. He doesn't charge you, but only so many people can get in.
Brad Pitt went to one out west.
Yeah.
I mean, it's popular, but here's the thing: he supported, as did Chance the Rapper, not Chance the Snapper. Chance the Rapper supported Amara,
right?
Enya for mayor.
Yeah, for mayor
in 2019.
Maybe she paid her bills yet. I wonder.
Chance is still here, but I'm liking Kanye more these days. Now he's a little bit of a live wire, to be polite about it. His live appearance with Jim Brown in the Oval Office with Trump was
that was a little
really sort of remarkable. However, you got to give people a chance to evolve and come over to your side. Listen to what he had to say. He sat down for this interview with another hip hop artist named Big Boy.
Oh, Big Boy. Well, that's what you are for Halloween.
No. He's come a long way from saying George W. Bush doesn't care about black people during the whole Katrina fiasco, right? Mm-hmm. Listen to what he has to say about white liberals, telling him who he has to be.
I told him, I said, look, my father's a Black Panther. My mother got arrested for the sit-ins at age 6. They were fighting for us to have the right to our opinion, not the right to vote for whoever the white liberals said black people are supposed to vote for. You get what I'm saying? And then James Corden went in and said, well, this president, you're Christian, and this president, I don't see anything Christian about him. I said, okay, so last year y'all tried to tell me who I'm supposed to vote for because I'm black. Now this year, white liberals trying to tell me who I'm supposed to vote for because I'm Christian.
Oh,
that would be like, I live in Calabasas, so everyone in my car's got to be a convertible, huh? It's just all based on y'all vision of what I'm supposed to do. And I understand, like a lot of people, it's not a matter of whether you like it or who like it. We are in a country where we allowed to like whatever we like. I love Jesus Christ. I love Christianity.
I love lamp. And I'll tell you what, that's a cogent point that he makes. He's
the most coherent I've heard him in a long time. He sounds amazing.
First, you're telling me I got to vote this way because I'm black. Now you're telling me in white liberals. You're telling me, you're moralizing to me about my Christianity and who I have to vote for if I'm a Christian, say, according to you, the secular humanist, you, the pagan. It's a great point. I want Kanye to consider maybe coming back to Chicago. I know he's got eyes on the Oval Office. Maybe a bit of a reach. Chicago? What do you think?
Well, he still has his home here.
Kanye as mayor, Kim Kardashian as first lady?
Oh, now that would be.
Huh?
A reality TV show. Oh, wait, it already is a reality
Think
TV
about this, and think about how, I know people mainly care about celebrities. Think about how that would celebritize Chicago in a way that, I'm sorry, John Cusack and Jim Belushi just aren't cutting it.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
If you thought that was good,
I did.
wait till you hear what Kanye has to say about Dems on policies, moral issues, abortion.
Democrats had us voting Democrats for food stamps for years, bro. What is you talking about? Guns in the 80s, taking the fathers out the home, Plan B, lowering our votes, making us abort our children. God should not kill. I can't tell y'all how to feel, but what I can tell you honestly is how I feel. And when I sat there 7 years in, 6 years in to the Obama administration, when I was sitting at the Met balls, when I was sitting in front of white people and they thought, I wouldn't thought you would like Trump because of the racism. So you mean to tell me I make every decision based off my color? The most racist thing a person could tell me is that I'm supposed to choose something based on my race.
This is getting, is there more?
Until we really own our own community, really make Wakanda for real, this is going to take more than the Jesus chain.
Talk Wakanda as a reference to Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Wakanda forever.
I know Kanye's been all over the map. He said some wild things. He's done some wild things, and I'm not just talking about accosting Taylor Swift at an awards show. But when people have a moment of clarity, they have a moment of clarity. So, what do you think? I mean,
I think it's great.
And think about Kanye for mayor, not against some absolute standard. Think about it against the standard of the mayors we've had, past and present.
Oh, if he ran for mayor here, he would win for sure.
Against the backdrop of the latest little mayor to get pantsed by the big union.
She's not giving in, though. It's going to be at 10 a.m. We'll find out.
She's holding.
She's not doing it.
Yeah, she's holding.
She says
she's holding on to a red stapler. Yeah.
But then they switched from the swing line to the Boston stapler, but I kept my swing line stapler because it didn't bind up as much, and I kept the staples for the swing line stapler.
That sounds like Lori Lightfoot talking about not paying teachers for the 10 days they were striking.
She's not going to do it. She said she's not doing it. She's not going to do it.
She just gave away everything. But on the 10 days.
But that wasn't discussed when Jesse
I'm keeping the red stapler. I don't care that I've been fired. I'll burn down this place. Lucas and Wheaton, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to make a comment about how Kanye's message is a little smart, but it's a little too late. I mean, he's made those outlandish comments during that fundraiser with Mike Myers several years ago, and people didn't believe him. He was way out there. But, clean the man up, bring him back, and maybe the right people will listen to the right message he has.
Maybe.
Well, I think he's turned.
Thanks for the call, Lucas.
He's changed his life around. Now he seems more focused. He's on medication. Well, because he had he had some mental illness issues, and he confronted them, and now he's turned his life to God. And And what he's doing is he's getting his celebrity friends, but then regular people like us to go to his Sunday services.
I'm not a regular person.
Come on, Dan.
You may be part of the white polloi. Don't drag me down into your personal hell. Maurice and Berwyn, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan and Amy, Kanye is painfully grandiose. Like,
well, I know.
He goes anywhere the wind blows. Why don't you just ask the Joker to run for mayor?
Okay.
And the other thing
you mean
is,
Joaquin Phoenix? I'll take Joaquin Phoenix too, if that's what you mean.
Sure, or you guys could just go ahead and try to get Republicans to run for mayor. You know, as they say, put up or shut up. And the other thing is, he doesn't vote. He doesn't even vote.
Well, you know, I mean, it's Rome.
Was that too late to register to vote?
Rome wasn't built in a day, Maurice. I mean, don't you have to?
Sure, it wasn't. Hey,
don't you have to give him a little bit of runway? That's a pretty big conversion he's made.
Unicorn.
No,
real quick, Dan. I want to give you a compliment, Dan. Dan,
right.
Your talk about property taxes and what it's done to African American property rates is spot on, brother. I think you should run for governor.
All right. Of what state?
Oh, wait.
Wakanda?
No. What Dan has been talking about property taxes and how they are how they've affected African Americans, I think have been spot on. You talked about it a few times lately.
Yeah.
I support you. You should run for governor.
Well, thanks for that, Maurice. Let me ask you a question, though. So your friends and colleagues and family members, your circles, do you think that it's actually penetrating? You think more and more people are getting it? They're starting to connect the dots between what's happening to their home and what they see their government doing to them? Is that actually happening?
It is. Here's the sad thing that people miss out on. African Americans are painfully conservative.
Yeah, I know.
Are really conservative, but as long as, unfortunately, your current messenger of conservative values just alienates people farther from it. We have far more in common than we do than we do apart.
I agree.
The reason I'm telling you this is because I've seen my parents, who are very hardworking people, buy their home when I was a kid for $200-something thousand. Now that home is worth maybe $50,000, maybe.
Yeah, sorry.
I have friends who bought their homes that maybe are worth now $5,000.
And where do your parents live? What community?
They live in the Austin area, and they've been there since I was in fifth grade.
Absolutely hammered. This is another great example. I'm glad you mentioned it because I will mention it again. We know from the numbers the highest property tax rates as a percentage of home values are in the poorest, mainly minority neighborhoods in Chicago and minority communities in Cook County. The highest property tax rate as a percentage of home value is in the poorest community in Cook County, one of the poorest in the nation, Fort Heights.
And that's like
north of 10%.
Right? If that was your platform, Dan, you would have my vote. And I've voted Democrat my whole entire life, but you would have my vote if that was your platform.
All right, Mo.
Dan,
thanks for the call, Maurice. Appreciate it.
all right. What are you going to do?
Move to Florida.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Ford goes ultra-high tech on software updates. Economic reports on tap as the effect of the Fed interest rate cut is assessed, and Molson laying off 500 of its workers. Those stories next.
G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free. If you have a rodent or pest problem at your home or business, don't spray harmful toxic chemicals. Use Plug-in Pest Free, the electromagnetic pest control device that uses your wiring to get rid of pests fast. Just plug it in. One customer had a warehouse with a rat problem. He was catching over 20 rats a day. He called pest controllers, but nothing solved the problem. Then I came along. My plug-in pest-free commercial system got rid of the rats, and since then he's seen maybe 3 in the last 12 months. Plug-in pest-free is not a sonic device. It's chemical-free and gets rid of pests safely and effectively for years. It comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 2-year warranty. Now that's fair income. Order today and get 20% off at gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20. That's gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget with Plug-in Pest Free.
Ford Motor Company says beginning next year, its redesigned vehicles will allow software updates to be made on cell phones or over the internet. The shift will reduce the number of visits to dealers and may even allow internet repairs of computer-related recalls, mirroring Tesla's software updates. The Commerce Department today reporting personal income and spending for September, the Labor Department rolling out its report on wages and benefits, and mortgage buyer Freddie Mac updates weekly mortgage interest rates. Molson Coors Brewing laying off 500 workers globally, restructuring its operations, the move a result of declining sales of beer. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Oh, it's raining again. A little snow mix, but mostly rain. And how's your basement going to hold up? A little water in the basement again? Well, if you don't want water in your basement, then do what thousands of people in Chicago and Northwest Indiana have done, and that's called Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Roy Spencer started Permaseal back in 1979, and it's still a local Chicagoland family business doing the right thing and standing behind their work. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all of the time, you know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325 or permaseal.net.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craiggie's Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craiggie's handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craiggie's has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craiggie's Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craiggie's on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've been taking it for 5 years, and I have not been sick once. I tell people all the time, I went to Texas 3 years ago with my wife and my son. We were all in the same hotel room. I was sleeping in the middle of them. They were both so sick, hacking away. My daughter called from Jersey. She was sick. She threw up. I never got sick. So nobody can tell me these things don't work. I'm thrilled with it. I really am. I just don't get sick. I don't even get colds anymore. It's amazing.
Experience the balance of nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Piers Nachawati with principal office in Dallas, Texas is responsible for the content of this ad. This is an urgent message for anyone exposed to the herbicide Roundup and diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The World Health Organization has designated Roundup weed killer as a probable human carcinogen. If you've come in contact with Roundup and have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, you may be entitled to compensation. A free consultation is now available to discuss your options and help you understand your legal rights and actions. Call 800-546-1616. Roundup is the most widely used herbicide in the United States, and a California jury recently awarded $289 million to a landscaper who claimed Roundup gave him cancer. But time is limited to file a claim. If you worked with Roundup weed killer and have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call the Roundup Legal Helpline now. You could be entitled to significant compensation. Call 800-546-1616. That's 800-546-1616. 800-546-1616.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Now I ain't saying she a gold digger.
I love this song.
But she ain't messing with no broke.
Yeah, thank you, Ray Charles. You know, Kanye West sampled Ray Charles. Now he's sampling conservatism. I like it. John in Bridgeport, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, while I commend Maurice's, suggestion for you to run for governor, vote for you, the reality is, unfortunately, it's going to take a lot more people, hundreds maybe even. I mean, you need 50 new aldermen, every Cook County that elected an office. You need judges. Unfortunately, there's not enough people that actually think like you. And to be honest, Dan, there's only one person I trust in this world to be governor, and that's Sean from Elmwood Park.
Of course, yes.
Oh.
Thanks for the call, John. Well, I'll tell you what,
Maybe
John.
he could be lieutenant governor.
I will defer to Sean from Elmwood Park on that run against Jelly Belly or whoever is left standing. I mean, literally, because Jelly Belly is collapsing under his own weight. I don't know if he's going to make it to 2020, but whoever's left standing in 2020 to represent the Democrat Socialists and the bipartisan combine. By the way, John, we'll get to that. John Cass has an interesting column about the symbiotic relationship between big city mayors like, say, Lori Lightfoot and one President Donald J. Trump. Also, quickly, I have a movie recommendation for you lonely guys out there. We talked a little bit about Halloween movies yesterday.
The romantic ones like Halloween.
No. The below the fold ones, the good Halloween movies that a lot of people haven't seen. Near Dark, The Wraith, Alone in the Dark, Stir of Echoes, those movies. Here's another one. If you like The Witch, and if you haven't seen The Witch, you should see The Witch. This guy's really good.
The Amy
really
Jacobson story?
No. Robert Eggers, if you like The Witch, and if you haven't seen it, see it.
Okay, The Witch.
You're going to love The Lighthouse, which is in theaters now. Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson. It's a slow burn, but it's Hitchcockian with symbolism and sort of cinematography shot in black and white. It's really, really good. Not for the weak of heart or constitution, but it's really good. There's your Halloween movie recommendation.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Let's see. So Lori Lightfoot, I'm impersonating the lonely guy. Lori Lightfoot impersonating the jerk at 7:07.
And it's 7 right now, AM 560, WIND.
Moving the investigation forward. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The House plans to vote on a resolution to set up rules and public hearings in their impeachment inquiry. Republicans have called the private questioning of witnesses illegitimate, but Democratic Congressman Jim Himes just told Fox at these depositions,
there's been perfectly equal time between the two parties, right? And they, of course, will have exactly that right when we go to open hearings.
And what about the Intel Committee chairman not allowing some Republican questions?
Adam Schiff felt that some of the questions that were being asked, the answers would point to the identity of the whistleblower who has the right to remain anonymous.
Well, this hour, more closed-door testimony. Fox's John Decker's live at the White House.
Tim Morrison, the top Russia advisor on the National Security Council, is the second White House official to testify who was on the phone call when President Trump asked the Ukrainian president to investigate Joe Biden and his son Hunter. Morrison is expected to corroborate key elements of testimony already given by the acting U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, who claimed that military aid to Ukraine was being withheld until President Zelensky announced such an investigation. Morrison is leaving his post on the NSC, which the White House said he's been considering doing for some time. Dave?
A new wildfire broke out early this morning in California, torching 4 homes in San Bernardino. This is the fire keeps burning uncontained in Simi Valley.
Wind gusts still going strong. Fortunately, firefighters were able to stop those flames from getting to the Reagan Library yesterday. The fire threatened 7,000 other structures and damaged 2 homes.
Fox's Christina Coleman. Up to the north in Sonoma County, that fire that burned down nearly 100 homes is now almost half contained. They partied past midnight in Washington, celebrating a World Series title.
Oh, my goodness. I've been waiting for this my entire life.
It's the Nationals' first ever championship. They beat the Houston Astros 6-2 in Game 7. I'm Dave Anthony, and America's listening to Fox News.
Snow and 31 degrees on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're following on WIND Chicago. Drivers should plan on slippery conditions throughout the day. A winter weather advisory is in effect through the afternoon. And as trick-or-treaters head out this afternoon in Cook, DuPage, Lake McHenry, Kane, and counties and northwest Indiana as well. By the way, 10 or more local communities that we know of have rescheduled trick-or-treating due to snow and cold. The head of the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago is stepping down, and Promotional resigned as chair. Last week, her resignation comes abruptly after she retired as CEO of Exelon Utilities. Promotional, according to the Tribune, is one focus of a widening federal probe into lobbying and payoffs sparked by the corruption probe of Senator Marty Sandoval. Chicago teachers will remain on strike today, denying children their classrooms despite accepting a tentative agreement with the Chicago Public Schools. CTU voting yesterday to accept that tentative deal, but refusing to return to the classroom until the mayor agrees to make up and compensate teachers for days they chose to be on the picket line.
Our union does not have a return to work agreement. Our delegates told us in no uncertain terms we were not going back to work unless there is a provision made for making up the instructional days that have been lost over the last 10 days.
Mayor Lightfoot fired back, saying she will not compensate union members.
We've given them a historic deal by any measure. And compensation, dealing with the issues of class size, staffing, homelessness, sports, the list goes on and on. At some point, the negotiations have to end.
So CPS has again canceled classes for an 11th day in a row. Cavaliers got by the Bulls, 117-111. Nationals celebrating their first World Series title, beating the Astros. The news, a service of Panera Bread. At Panera, get breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Try a new Chipotle chicken, scrambled egg, and avocado breakfast wrap. Pair it with a premium, freshly ground, freshly brewed coffee, all ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity can't make heads or tails of the left.
To be a liberal Democrat, extreme radical socialist today, you have to suspend any fidelity to truth, to honesty, to common sense and reason. Because in their world, up is down, down is up. You know, black is white, white is black, green is purple, purple is green. That's the world they live in.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Dr. Jeff Gooden, and I treat pain with Salonpas. That's because practicing good medicine is my responsibility as a doctor. For back or joint pain, I agree with CDC guidance that recommends using topical pain relievers first, like Salonpas Patch Large. Salonpas is powerful, FDA approved to relieve debilitating moderate pain, yet non-addictive and gentle on the body. Look for the green Salonpas box in the pain relief aisle. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of You Store It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of You Store It, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Protect your pets from leaving your yard at a fraction of the cost of a privacy fence. Now until October 31st, save $315 on Boundary Plus technology, only from Invisible Fence brand. Go to invisiblefence.com today and save. That's invisiblefence.com.
7:07 on AM 560. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal. 800-421-SEAL. In the AM 560 Traffic Center, Jim Talamonte.
Metra trains on the inbound Union Pacific Northwest line are stopped near Des Plaines due to a vehicle stuck on the tracks. Eden's inbound, 24 minutes like Cook to the Junction, outbound 26. Kennedy holding in about 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, but outbound 41. Inbound Eisenhower, 51 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 34. Stevenson runs 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 37 minutes, I-80 to the Merch Bishop, 452. The northbound Tri-State is bottled up. Cicero to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway, much with Lawrence, Reagan Tollway delays are Farnsworth to 59 and 22nd of the Tri-State. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
We do have a winter weather advisory today. Clouds, breezy and cold. Some snow and rain at times. Could see accumulations up to an inch. The high today, 34. Clear, windy, and cold tonight, low 21. And then breezy and chilly. Clouds and sun tomorrow, the high 40. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
31 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by AM Woodland Outdoor Design, luxury outdoor living. amwoodland.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. All hail conquering hero Jesse Sharkey and CTU. They got a TA. They got a tentative agreement. Apparently, there has been enough capitulation now that they were willing to take the agreement in principle to the apparatchiks and have them voted up, which they did. But no, there's still the remaining issue. Jesse Sharkey explaining.
Our delegates told us in no uncertain terms they were not going back to work unless there is a provision made for making up the instructional days that have been lost over the last 10 days.
Yeah, that's the hang up.
Yeah. They want to get paid for striking. Thugs.
Sharkey was asked about that, ABC News reporting.
We won many things in this battle. We now need to do close the final chapter, which is to get an agreement to return to work.
CTU says that this holdup is over missed instructional time with students over the past 10 days. But when we asked them if CTU teachers would be willing to make up that time without pay, CTU President Jesse Sharkey said CTU members don't work for free.
That's right. Yeah, I don't work for free. You don't work for free. Neither should Chicago public school teachers. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Teachers of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your unpaid strike days.
I mean, this has gotten to the point where it's absolutely, it's criminal what they're doing. They're holding people hostage. They're not letting our kids return to school. I'm a taxpayer. What am I getting for my money? Nothing. Lori Lightfoot, she had that meeting with Jesse and with Stacy Davis. And this issue never came up. This is something new now. They're moving the goalposts once again.
Not once during a 3.5-hour meeting did they raise compensation for strike days. Not once. The issue never came up. I've been clear from day one that CPS would not make up any strike days. And at this late hour, we are not adding any new issues. CPS has given the CTU an historic deal by any measure. Parents and students deserve better than this. Our city deserves better than this. And my job as mayor is to negotiate the best deal for the teachers, for the staff, for our students.
Not for taxpayers.
That's exactly what has been done.
You know, that's how taxpayers were left off that list?
Yeah, we were. We didn't, in parents, we didn't even taxpayers, we didn't even get a seat at the table.
Lori Lightfoot thinks that it's a feature of this deal, full capitulation deal, that it's a feature that it's the most generous teacher contract in history. This against the backdrop of the worst governed city by any financial metric in the country. This against the backdrop of a school system that has $20 billion in bills and less than $3 billion to pay for them. That in that context, you agreed to, capitulated to, the most generous deal in CPS history. That's a feature in Chicago. I just want you to understand that. That's something that Lori Lightfoot is beating her chest about. I mean, don't you find how remarkable this is? And then we get the additional tough talk. Now that I've given everything away, I've drawn this line.
Yes, you drew the line. They're meeting at 10 a.m. today. And
10 days, $9 billion system, billions of salary and benefits just conferred if this agreement is ratified formally. And she's drawn the line at 10 days. That's what we're going to have a pitched battle over. And
what should she do?
And how do you react to that? How do you react to that? Here, I'll give you a little bit more Lori Lightfoot just explaining why she's decided to draw the red line here.
Well, I'm going to go then. And I don't need any of this. I don't need this stuff. And I don't need you. I don't need anything. Except this. This ashtray. And that's the only thing I need is this. I don't need this or this. Just this ashtray. And this paddle game. The ashtray and the paddle game. And that's all I need.
That's all she needs.
And this.
10 days.
Remote control. The ashtray and the paddle game and the remote control, and that's all I need. And these matches.
Emotional.
The ashtray and these matches and the remote control and the paddle ball.
Keep adding things to the list.
This lamp. The ashtray. This paddle game and the remote control. And the lamp, and that's all I need.
Yeah. So all she needs is is not to pay the teachers for the 10 days they were on strike. And I don't know, I guess both sides, as if there are two sides, there aren't. Both sides declare victory. Hooray!
Well, so Jesse's going to get what he wants, right? Jesse Sharkey, when he goes down there and wants his 10 paid days.
I don't know.
Well, teachers are getting frustrated, and the insurance runs out, and times are hard. Because remember, it is about the children.
The concern is insurance. I'm concerned about the children and their learning. I'm also concerned about us with our bills. I need my medication. If I don't get it, I might be up out of here.
I think
she's an English teacher, by the way.
Of course she is, and as I understand
out of here.
As I understand from Stacey Davis Gates, teachers are Chicago public school teachers are some of the most well-read individuals that you know.
Oh, that's what she informed us last night.
Teachers are some of your most well-read individuals, period.
Yeah.
They do not mind speaking their mind. If you can get 25,000 teachers out on the streets, we didn't get them there because they follow blindly.
No, we got them there with the money.
We don't get them there because they just trust people. These are individuals who ask questions, who interrogate information, who have an analysis,
how much?
and figure out how to make a vote.
Am I going to get paid for being out here in the rain?
We do not expect consensus in our house.
No.
I need to say that again. We do not expect consensus in our house.
No.
What happened here tonight was absolutely expected. It is raucous in this in this house.
In my house.
We cultivate that in our house.
96%. 96% to go on strike, 96%, 97%, 98% for anything. No, they're just that persuasive. Well, sure, it's easy to be persuasive when you say, you put $40,000 in over 30 years, you get $2 million back. Who's down for that? We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to roll her over this issue. We're going to roll over that issue. We're going to add more members here. We're going to get more blank checks. You're going to have less teacher time. You're going to have less accountability. We're not going to do anything to change the system structurally. This is all going to be at your convenience, as it's always been. And, by the way, those well-read teachers, if only they could confer those skills. Concurrent to the news yesterday about this tentative agreement comes the National assessment of educational progress, which finds that math and reading scores for 4th and 8th graders in the United States have both dropped since 2017. The decrease in reading achievement, particularly noteworthy, as one of the researchers said, a 3-point decline for the country is substantial. In as much as 31 states are driving it, large states, small state, it's a very meaningful decline. And let me tell you something, we already know from NAAP tests and just about every other metric that CPS students doing math and reading at grade level is less than 1 in 3.
Oh, my kids are the one.
Hooray! Victory for the teachers.
I got a text message from teachers saying they're confused. They had no idea that this was even an issue.
Spare me.
About the 10 days.
Spare
they
me.
thought that.
Spare me, really.
They're going to, I know. Well,
Carl on the south side.
the house is in disarray.
Good morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these teachers chose the strike, and if they want to get paid, maybe they should choose to use their vacation time, like the rest of us would have to do if we wanted to get paid.
Why should they do that, Carl? Thanks for the call. Why should they do that? They are allowed by law to strike. Their strike was a legal strike. Now it's settled, and they want to be paid for having to strike because Lori Lightfoot didn't capitulate fast enough. Even though she surrendered at the outset, the surrender wasn't big enough, so it took another week and a half to get the kind of comprehensive surrender that was demanded by the teachers, which they got. Of course they did. The latest little mayor to be rolled by the big union. So why not? Why not? I mean, what's another? What are we talking about here? Does anybody ask the question? CPS said CTU said they were $38 million apart.
While
the city said they were $100 million apart.
And then an independent auditor said they're $71 million apart.
How'd it got settled? How'd that issue get settled? Right. No, because nobody asked the question, because nobody cares about the money. So why pretend you care about the money with respect to paying teachers on strike for the 10 days they were on strike? You don't.
So
nobody
we
does.
should just pay them? Oh, why not?
Who? 6-figure salaries aren't enough. Let's make it 7. 7-figure pensions aren't enough. Let's make it 10. Maybe make it 8. 8-figure pensions. What's the difference? Don't pretend that anybody cares about other people's money in this city or state. They don't. So all of this hand-wringing and posturing about whether or not they're going to get paid for the 10 days they struck.
That's what and they tweeted out last night. Last night. Never have we not had a return to work agreement. The mayor's unwillingness is dangerous. So here we go again. You think we're going to go back to school? You think playoffs for football are going to be played on Saturday? This strike has to end by 8 a.m. Saturday morning in order for those 18 teams to play.
Well, then Lori Lightfoot better get out our checkbook again and sign our names to the bottom.
Why don't we all just cut a check to CTU? Here you go.
We are.
I mean, like, personally, just hand them one today.
We do. When you pay your property taxes, when you pay your state income taxes, when you pay all of the other taxes and fees, you're cutting a check to the Chicago public school system, which then turns around and passes it on to the teachers and administrators. I mean, is this not obvious? Apparently it's not.
And someone did bring up the argument yesterday, but, well, will you keep in mind, we don't get Social Security. And I said, fine, I will gladly trade your pension and my Social Security. That sounds great. I can't wait. I'll get a bigger house.
Orlando on the north side.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hi, Orlando.
Hey, hi, Dan and Amy. Love you, Amy. I'm so glad you're in the radio. To my understanding, the 10 days that they were off, that the teachers didn't get paid, that equals to the 16% raise that they got. So it's kind of like a wash that basically they went on strike for no reason because the money they're saving from not paying them equals the 16% raise.
Say that again. So you 10 days of work represents
10 days of not working. The teachers not working.
Yeah, 10 days
represents the 16.
That's
the 16% raise they would have gotten in the first place if they would have settled this before they went on strike.
They make 1/6 of their annual salary for every 10 days they work.
No, I'm saying the the 10 days that all the teachers are off, all the superintendents, whatever, the principals, the 10 days that they were off,
they're not off.
Equals
right. I know.
16%.
So the net present value of a 16% increase over 5 years is, which when you include the steps, bumps them up by some 24 grand. That was incurred in those 10 days. Is that what I'm to understand? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Either.
All right,
think
thanks,
so.
Orlando, for calling.
Thanks for the call.
That was his
Orlando.
first time calling, I think.
Well, I mean, it's fine. It's
anytime.
fine to raise, and he's raising the argument they're making. So I appreciate that he's raising it so we could address it. It's just not true. But, I mean, why should they make arguments that are true now? They haven't made any fact-based arguments to this point. The facts don't matter. The money doesn't matter. You know what matters?
What?
Union solidarity, brothers and sisters.
No, it's for the children. They give a crap about
James in Westmont.
Oh, what an embarrassment, huh? Well, first of all, Amy, just let you know, I leave the radio on while everyone's getting ready to go to work and school, and my family's been praying for you and your boys, and all the kids out there, because it's really not their fault. No. But one of the things you don't hear about is people like the school bus drivers. My wife works for a school bus company out here in Westmont. They brought in 10 drivers from the city. Who they're all out of work, by the way, because they're not getting paid for their strike. So they're all finding work elsewhere where they could get it. And my wife said one of the best things she known about was all these people that are coming over, how grateful, respectful, and professional they are, and how much they love the kids out here, because he said it's kind of a night and day difference. Not that there's no great kids in the city, of course, me being one of them. But, there's they just said it's a night and day difference of respect and much listening to them if they ask them to, sit down or whatever when they're driving the bus. So there's some people out there who are not getting paid at all because of this strike, and they won't get compensated either.
Yeah,
yeah, they're not going to. There is not going to be all the refs that missed all of our games. They're not being compensated for the soccer, for all of that stuff.
Yeah,
they're out money.
The solution to that's easy solution.
What?
They all become members of CTU.
Oh, anybody we can unionize the referees.
Anybody who's not getting paid, just have CTU incorporate you as another bargaining unit or in their existing bargaining unit.
That's what they're doing with the nurses.
Everybody should be represented by CTU. I'd love to be represented by CTU.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
CTU said that we'll get more. We want more nurses, but they have to be union members because they need more dues.
Wouldn't you love to be represented by CTU?
No, I wouldn't. I'd rather tear my spleen out with a rusty spoon.
Well, I don't know. I think most people would love to get blank checks from their employers.
Well, I have morals and values that they don't have.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to leave now.
George in West Loop. Hey, George.
Hello. Yeah, these teachers, they're not teachers, they're politicians. You got to have some kind of juice to get those jobs full time in the first place. And this strike has always been a dance. And it's just to try to impress upon us that there's a bargaining unit. All us people that I was at dinner the other night, 8 different people. None of us have a kid in the school system. We're all paying these exorbitant property taxes. And so we can feed them and clothe them and miseducate them so they can grow up and rob us. It's an absurd system.
All right, George, thanks for the call. I mean, I love some of these provisions. I printed out the 41-page tentative agreement.
Uh-huh.
Things that have everything to do with the quality of educational instruction, preparing kids to be successful as they move through school and to post-secondary education and the workforce.
And what do you have?
Oh, 2 pages dealing with sanctuary schools and sanctuary employer provisions. That, for example, the Chicago Public School Board shall not inquire about or demand proof of immigration or citizenship status, things like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The board shall, in consultation with the union, develop appropriate guidance and resources of up to $200,000 per school to assist employees in planning for and navigating immigration issues.
Oh, my God.
Upon written request,
200,000.
Upon written request, an employee shall be released from up to 10 days of unpaid working days one time during their employment in order to attend to immigration or citizenship status matters. A lot of stuff like that in there. It's nice. Cindy and Joliet.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Hi, Amy. You know, I'm an educator. I've called in a few times about different issues surrounding education and kids. I've been in it a long time, but I'm happy to be a conservative Republican. And I will tell you this, the kids do not care about reading, and they do not care about math skills.
Mm-hmm.
I can Google it. You're so old school. I can Google it. Then you call home to the parents, and this happened last week. I call home to a parent to express a child's lack of enthusiasm for schoolwork, especially about what's targeted for reading. She goes, "We don't need to read." I said, "Well, if you could read to him at home, even 15 minutes a night, that would increase. Maybe if you did that every other day to start with." She goes, "We don't read at home. We don't need to read." Now, this is a parent. So if the parents have that position, what position is the kid going to take? Now,
Yeah,
this is not every kid,
I understand.
but
I understand parents that aren't providing proper stewardship over the children's intellectual development. I get it. And you can't legislate. You cannot legislate a loving two-parent family. You can't legislate that sort of parental guidance. We can do a lot more with respect to how we organize K through 12 education, as the test scores nationally released yesterday so indicate.
I totally agree, Dan. I couldn't agree with you more. I see this apathy, and then the kids don't want to learn, and then guess what? Oh, cry me a river. Teaching becomes hard. You know, it's not 180 days of hearts and flowers and unicorns, you know?
Right.
And
Yes.
it's nauseating when I see this from colleagues, and some of them are happy to sit back and, you know, they're on their phones and they're doing whatever, and there's nobody overseeing them every minute of the day. And the other thing about CPS, quickly I'll tell you that there's a teacher shortage nationally. Not only teachers, special ed teachers, nurses, and social workers, because people are not going into the field. And Illinois has dropped the basic skills test because it was too hard.
Right. Well,
it's written at 8th grade level for math. Give me a break.
I know. Thanks for the call, Cindy. I know, but this is the same thing. Well, the problem with standards, if the problem is standards, then we just eliminate the standards. Well, then what's the product? Nobody cares. I mean, some parents care, and they're the parents leaving the system. John on the Northwest side.
Yeah, hey, you guys seen that Dave Chappelle special, right? He was talking about a guy who thought he was smarter than everybody else and was trying to pull one over on the people. Well, we don't have Jesse Sharkey from now on. We got Juicy Sharkey.
Juicy Sharkey. Yeah, Juicy Sharkey. Nice. I like that. Thanks, John.
Don't ever forget what happened to that French actor. You know what I'm talking about? Juicy Smouillet. He's a very famous French actor.
Good. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll switch gears and talk impeachment theater with Spectre to USA's Dominic Green at 7:37.
And later, goblins and goop. No, we have bats and spiders are going to be in studio. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Snow and 31 degrees at 7:30. You know this. Be careful out there. Drivers should plan ahead for slippery road conditions this morning and this afternoon. And as the little ghouls and goblins head out for trick-or-treating this afternoon in Cook, DuPage, Lake McHenry, Kane counties, a wind advisory is up as you travel through northwest Indiana starting at 1 this afternoon as well. 10 or more local communities have rescheduled trick-or-treating due to the snow and cold. In Washington, 10 or more local communities in Washington, the next steps in the impeachment inquiry come up for a vote today in the House. A Democrat resolution authorizes public hearings and offers guidelines for questioning witnesses in the Democrat-led inquiry. Fire crews in California getting a little bit of help. Hundreds of firefighters from western states are now arriving, helping battle burning wildfires up and down California. This morning, Ford and the UAW have reached a deal. Negotiators for both sides announcing late Wednesday they put together a tentative deal. It needs to be ratified by Ford's 55,000 union members. A massive fire caused by a cooking gas stove erupted on a train this morning traveling in Pakistan's eastern Punjab province, killing at least 71. CEO Jack Dorsey says Twitter will no longer accept political advertising. The ban goes into place next month. Chicago teachers remain on strike today despite accepting a tentative agreement with CPS. Chicago Teachers Union voting yesterday to accept the tentative deal, but they're still refusing to return to the classroom until the mayor agrees to make up and compensate teachers for all the days they chose to be on the picket line.
Our union does not have a return to work agreement. Our delegates told us in no uncertain terms we were not going back to work unless there is a provision made for making up the instructional days that have been lost over the last 10 days.
And there's a big shakeup in the beer business this morning. Molson Coors is moving their North American headquarters from Denver to Chicago. Company leaders say it will save the brewer around $150 million a year. Molson Coors will also be slashing hundreds of jobs from offices worldwide. Company lost more than $400 million in the third quarter. By the way, the Coors Brewery, the famous one in Golden, Colorado, will remain open and operating. Cavaliers got by the Bulls 117-111. Nationals celebrating a World Series title over the Astros. The news service of Indeed.com, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you, or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Thursday, November 7th at Papa Joe's Restaurant in Orland Park. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar, Thursday evening, November 7th at 6:30 at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
This is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. The Fed did it again and helped push mortgage rates to yet another historic low. So are you holding off refinancing your home because you think rates may go even lower? Well, let me make your decision even easier. Let's refinance you now and take advantage of this opportunity. If rates drop more than 0.5% in the next 24 months, I will refinance you at the lower rate at no closing costs. Other lenders state that they'll refinance you, but watch out for the fine print. So if you have a conventional loan that's over 4.75 or FHA or VA loan over 4.5, you have nothing to lose and thousands to save. So find out how much you can save. Just pick up the phone to call me personally. That's 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN. Or find me on the web at windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162.
Message and data rates may apply.
Help! Seriously, I am too young for hair loss.
My hairline keeps creeping back. Receding?
I got this bald spot. It's thinning everywhere. I'm gonna have to give up and shave it.
Dude, put down the razor, because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, is about to give you your real hair back permanently. Don't ignore the signs of hair loss. Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit that reveals all the signs, and a free gift card to anyone who texts SECRET to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Using the latest technology, Bosley's solution to hair loss is permanent and protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Plus, since Bosley has new non-surgical options, you owe it to yourself to text now for an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off, no matter what level of hair loss you have. Text SECRET to 85850. That's SECRET to 85850.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time and Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Kennedy delays start at Cumberland. It's 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 23 from Montrose, 22 in the Express, outbound 41 minutes to the airport. Eden's 24 minutes Lake Cook Junction, outbound 26. Inbound Eisenhower, 53 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 34. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 at 127th, going to crash in the left lane. 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop, 452 minutes. It's on Reagan, Tillway to Laser, Farnsworth to 59 and 22nd to the Tri-State. Northbound Veterans Memorial is heavy from Boughton up to 290. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Calamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, morning snow, afternoon snow. Some spots could see up to 4 inches, so drive with care there. High 34, windy, near record-tying temperatures overnight, a low of 21 degrees and 40 tomorrow. 31 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retire Chicago. Tune in Saturday mornings at 8 to Retire Chicago with John McNamara of McNamara Capital.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
When did you stop trick-or-treating?
I went trick-or-treating in high school, but I put a white sheet over. I was a ghost.
On AM 560.
Oh,
cut out the
yeah.
eyes.
Yeah, a ghost. Right, Grand Imperial Wizard.
The Answer.
Dan and Amy, one more note on the Chicago teacher strike before we leave that topic.
It's not going away.
It is worth noting that Mayor Lightfoot sends her daughter to Francis Xavier Ward.
Oh, also Jesse Sharkey's son somehow got into Jones Prep.
Half of CPS teachers, roughly, send their kids to private school. So there's no strike concerns for them.
No, not at all.
And there's no
Daycare
support for the same choice for other families either. The hypocrisy of the ruling class, and make no mistake about it, the big public sector unions are a important part of the ruling class. They're the financiers. Just remember, for me, not for thee, which is a great transition to another ruling class, this across the pond, our friends in the UK. They've set another election. Just when you think our system is bedeviled by controversy and silliness, you only have to look across the pond and see what's happening in the UK as Boris Johnson tries to Brexit to no avail, so they're going to have another go at it. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Dominic Green, the Life and Arts editor for Spectator USA and a contributor to the Wall Street Journal and the New Criterion. Dominic, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Lovely to be here.
So Boris Johnson, he's in a pretty strong position vis-a-vis Labor leader Jeremy Corbyn, but is he in a strong position ultimately to get done what he needs to get done under the extension that's granted, which is Brexit?
Well, this is the question we're going to be discovering the answer to between now and the end of the year. The polls are strongly running in Johnson's favour, as much as 15 or more % ahead of Labour. And in fact, this morning, he received a further boost to his chances as several anti-Brexit MPs in his own Conservative Party have decided to stand down at the next election. So things are in his favour. But then again, even if he wins this election, he's still going to come back to Parliament in this endless Groundhog Day scenario of trying to push the deal over the line. At least he now has a deal.
Is it? Sorry to interrupt, but is it possible if he really wipes the floor with Labor in December that will chasten enough of those anti-Brexit MPs, as well as perhaps newly elected ones, to get on board?
It definitely is possible, but he's going to need a substantial margin to make it very clear that he's in an authoritative position and can really use the whipping system to force even the anti-Brexiteers amongst his own MPs, to force them to back it. The one advantage he'll have as the clock keeps ticking is that it's very hard to imagine there will be a further extension to the negotiating period. The European Union is as sick of this as everybody else in Britain here is. So the nearer it comes to the cliff edge, the greater the chance that even the most resistant members of his own party will come around.
Is there still the belief held by some initially when this revolt started that if England withdraws from the EU, that's the first domino of many more to fall, and that spells the end of the EU?
It certainly will spell the beginning of a new period for the EU. It may indeed mark the high water mark of its expansion, because in the 90s it kept growing and growing. It's possible, and this is what Emmanuel Macron of France is pushing for, it's possible that the core of the European Union will accelerate its drive towards forming a single state and creating a central bank that has powers like that of the Fed in the US. Because Britain has always been a dead weight on that. Britain has never been a wholehearted, enthusiastic member of the EU. So there are plenty of EU powers who'd be glad to see Britain on the outside so they can get on with building.
Why did the UK join the EU in the first place if they were never enthusiastic about it?
It was a moment of weakness. It was the 70s. There was terrible economic malaise, and also the leaders of the Conservatives, actually, who did this, they promised that the British people were voting to go into a free trade association, an economic group, a customs union, nothing political, specifically ruled out. And yet, over the following 20 to 30 years, the European Union mutated into a single state. And there was therefore this rising tide of rejection. And of course, people were told it was good for them. But most people didn't feel that way at all.
We have to learn these lessons every generation or two, right? The idea that you're going to have this supranational government organ that isn't going to tend towards expanding its tentacles is, of course, folly, as has been demonstrated over and over again throughout the annals of history.
I think you're right, and I think there is a strong element here of what you were talking about just earlier, that there an elite class of administrators saying what's good for us is what's good for you, and we can have it our own way in the national interest. And of course, they made the mistake of doing this in a democracy, which every now and then means people get the chance to have a vote and express their difference of opinion. So it's been a terrible shock for the ruling class in Britain.
Well, a shock to some in the ruling classes, both in England as well as here, is no political ads on Twitter. You're not going to pay for reach, according to Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. You got to earn it the old-fashioned way. And the Trump administration, Trump sort of recoiled at that, I think probably trying to send a message to some other social media platforms not to go that direction. But what do you think about that approach to, and Jack Dorsey, I think in part in response to these congressional hearings where Zuckerberg has been roasted, you want us to be fact checkers, you want us to be gatekeepers, how about we just get out of the business altogether? I mean, I understand Dorsey's position, even if I were a Twitter investor, I don't know that I'd enjoy it.
I think the social media companies are trying to call the regulators bluff by saying, well, if you want us to do it, we won't do it at all. Of course, it's going to be enormously expensive for them to take full responsibility for the content they have. But the general public firmly wants them to be responsible for that content. And I feel that they're going to eventually be forced into this position. It's simply not a responsible way for a company to act. The only difference in Britain, perhaps, is that the electoral season will be blessedly short because, an American president has to start running for re-election in his second or third year, while over here you've got a 6-week sprint to the line, to an inevitably disappointing conclusion, I should say, but at least it'll be short.
And the relationship between Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, both in the run up to their respective elections, as you mentioned, Boris is much sooner than Trump's. That still is solid and growing closer?
Well, I mean, as I understand it, President Trump's relationships with all foreign leaders are contractual. And from what I can gather here in London, there's a strong hope in the Conservative Party that they'll be able to be a strong partner in a contract based on a strong trading agreement, which will, of course, be on the US's terms. And I think the British would be very happy to have an agreement on anybody's terms as they exit the EU and start looking for new trade relationships or to revitalized trade relationships all over the world.
All right, switching gears here. You also wrote a great article about Meghan and Prince Harry, which I know people roll their eyes. But Meghan Markle, I mean, she is an American. She did go to Northwestern, where Dan graduated from, is a sorority
Yeah,
sister.
I'm so proud.
Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority sister. Has she lost her sparkle? And if so, was it because of that interview she did where she said she's just existing and not living?
Well, certainly in the eyes of many British people. And as I was saying, this is a very delicate moment in Anglo-American relations, and we wouldn't want the Meghan Markle business to affect friendship between the UK and the US. But it has to be said, a lot of people here are feeling that you can't really complain if you're married to a prince and you have Elton John's private jet on standby. Can't really complain about just existing. Lots of us are just existing on much less. Now, in a way, she said she's surprised that the British papers have been so, she says, intrusive.
Right.
But to me, and obviously I'm biased, but to me, this is a contract. They're happy to be in front of the cameras. And then once you're in front of the cameras, you can't really dictate terms.
So there hasn't been an outpouring of empathy for Meghan Markle, then?
Not yet, though I may yet find myself on the sororities hit list for my criticisms.
Really, you sound concerned to talk about it. Who cares? I mean, we're not going to start a war over Meghan Markle. I can tell you that. We already fought one with you guys years ago. But
it didn't go very well for us previously.
Because your tax dollars are paying for their houses of luxury. I mean, really, you are, isn't it?
Yes, this is very true. It's true. And therefore, there is an attitude in Britain of we are the customers. We are supporting this soap opera with our tax dollars, as you're saying. And therefore, we expect a certain standard of behavior from the actors. And I think it's still possible for Meghan and Harry to turn this around by just knuckling down and getting on with the job, which is actually not expressing opinions about the environment or about anything else. It's doing things like visiting schools and hospitals and old people and spreading goodwill. That's all we really want from them.
Well, good luck. But Prince Harry married an American actress, so who leans far left, so that's never going to happen. So embrace your new normal. That's my advice to you.
He is. I'm sorry.
We're trying.
I know. It's hard. Change is hard.
He is Dominic Green, Life and Arts Editor, Spectator USA, contributor to the Journal and New Criterion. Dominic, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Amy.
You're the best. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. In my lab, I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. As a scientist, I know that balance of nature works.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Take a moment and picture your daughter. Society puts this unbelievable pressure on her to achieve, to win, to project perfection, and it affects her. I've told you about Northridge Prep for Boys. Now let me tell you about their sister school, Willows Academy. Girls thrive at Willows because the pressure just isn't there. There's no boys to create a social pecking order. It's a culture where what matters is how good a friend you are, not Instagram. Their all-female faculty create a warm environment where girls can be their best, not perfect. Not surprisingly, in this environment, girls actually do achieve. The Willows goal is to produce leaders, and it succeeds. Willows girls attend the top universities like MIT and Notre Dame. Willows has a strong liberal arts curriculum, small class sizes, personalized attention, one-on-one mentoring, no strikes. They're an independent Catholic school for grades 6 through 12 with your strong values. Learn more at their open house this Sunday, November 3rd. Register online at willowsacademy.org. Again, that open house this Sunday, November 3rd. Check it out, willowsacademy.org.
You love listening to AM 560 The Answer. How would you like to work for us? If you have experience in sales, we'd love to talk to you. You already understand our mission and what we do, so now maybe you'd like to join our team. If you have sales experience, and specifically if you understand digital marketing, we might have a job for you. If you love us, come join us. It could be a life-changing opportunity for you. For more information, just go to the Careers tab at salemmedia.com.
Looking to refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Ben's been hearing Team Hochberg ads for years, so naturally called Team Hochberg to refinance. Oh no. Ben called his current lender, Bank of whatever, who quoted Ben a higher rate and closing costs of $4,000 greater than Team Hochberg's. Needless to say, Team Hochberg and not Bank of that is refinancing Ben's home. Breaking news, your current lender is a business trying to make as much money as possible and not your friend. Team Hochberg offers low rates and closing costs because they don't have multiple layers of expensive overhead as banks do. Now, to ensure you secure the lowest rate and closing costs, do yourself a favor, call Team Hochberg before refinancing with your current lender. Now, if you want to work with a trusted local lender, call Team Hochberg now. 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-56-DAVID. Or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 6761019, NMLS 1124061.
National competition for your business is eating away at your customer base. Like digital marketing minions swallowing your customers one by one. You need Salem Surround. When a customer does a search, they need to find your business, not the competition. Your contact information needs to be accurate and all over the web. You need the right tools to turn visitors into leads. Contact Salem Surround for a free evaluation of your digital presence. Learn more at surroundchicago.com. SurroundChicago.com, connecting you with new customers.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, it's Halloween, and of course this is a very dangerous holiday because the
people are going to start trick-or-treating at noon because we don't have school today?
No, because the Orwellian minders are going to be looking out for offensive costumes.
Oh, that's right.
This is interesting. A recent poll by the College Pulse found that more than half of college students do not believe that dressing in offensive costumes is protected free expression and that students should be punished. In point of fact, in the Ivy League, it's even higher. 58% of Ivy League students say that wearing offensive costumes should have consequences. Consequences including, but not limited to, being elected Prime Minister of Canada.
Hey-oh.
Thank you very much.
I wonder what Justin Trudeau is going to be for Halloween this year. What would be appropriate? I'd probably sit this one out if I were him. But, if he's got kids, he's got to go trick-or-treating.
Maybe he and Ralph Northam can dress up like two of the kings of comedy. Like, one can be Bernie Mac and the other can be Cedric the Entertainer, since they like the blackface so much. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. What are you going for as Halloween or...
You didn't even ask me what I was for Halloween.
Because I'm not interested.
Wow.
Did you decorate your apartment, condo, yard?
So mean.
What did you decorate your condo, apartment, yard, or dog with?
I put a pumpkin up and a gourd, and that's all I did. Oh, and then I have a witch's broom that I'm going to fly away on later today. And if the CTU doesn't settle their
do Peyton and Eli, they're high school students, do they still dress up?
Yeah, this is one of those high school years. They're not going to dress up this year, but they're still going to go trick-or-treating. I go, no. That is not how it works. You have to wear something. And I go with the original. Put on all black, and then I go down and get some lint from the dryer, so a dryer sheet, a sock, and I make them static cling, and I spray their hair. I know it's such an old, but it's the easiest Halloween costume out there. Don't you think?
I don't know. I went
because you don't want to be anything offensive. You don't want to be a cowboy because that might upset people.
Oh, right.
Because cowboys were chasing
offensive.
Indians.
Everything's offensive,
Yes.
even, including in places like Utah, of all places. Did you see this story? Brigham City, Utah. A Halloween display that has the neighborhood up in arms.
How far are they going to go? And where are we going to say stop? We live here.
Claudia Perry doesn't mind Halloween decorations to a point. Her neighbor's display this year features a guillotine, its victims baby dolls.
The babies out there and that kind of thing, that's going way too far.
Casey was so bothered she called the city, and she wasn't the only one who did.
If I'm going to get a citation for having weeds that are too tall in my front yard, but this is acceptable, I think maybe we need to take a closer look at things.
She says if you want that kind of Halloween, go for it in your backyard.
Displaying it so blatantly, it takes people's choice away. You don't really have a choice when it's right out there.
That abortionist
yeah, my children are involved in this 100%.
I talked with one of the display's masterminds, Julie Bodden. She tells me this is quality family time at her house.
It's fun. We can kind of be creative with our ideas. We come up with new ideas every year. We get to buy all the fun stuff.
I asked about the clear baby theme that seems to upset so many people. Where does she think the line is?
If it was more realistic, if the dolls were crying and moving around, if I would feel like maybe that would be crossing the line a little bit, but I don't think we are.
Right, if they were actual babies, that might be crossing.
Well, and
the
then
line,
she put blood on the head of the doll, and then wrote red rum on the guillotine that is piercing the baby's head to the wood block.
Clearly a Shining reference. She's a Stanley Kubrick fan. What's wrong with that?
Oh, Lord. Oh my God, it's disgusting. Have you seen the pictures of this?
Yeah.
No, and then she's got Cabbage Patch dolls. Oh no, yeah, this is a little too cray for me. Too creepy.
Here, one suggestion you could for Peyton and Eli if they're still looking for a costume.
We need free food, so I'm going to send them to get something. Yes,
they could follow Ricky Gervais's lead. He is tweeting out that he tweeted out that he's going to dress up as Jessica Yaniv. That's that dude that wanted his. That's pretending to be a woman that wanted the esthetician to wax his nuts, and he took a bunch of estheticians in Canada to court.
Yeah.
When these salon employees refused to wax his nuts, give him a bikini wax. So Gervais tweeted out that the brave female activist would make a good Halloween costume instead of dressing up as something weird or creepy. Right. Yeah. Because a dude who wants his nuts waxed because he's pretending to be female isn't weird or creepy. Gervais said that it will be convenient because he won't have to wax his big old hairy balls.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. I got to buy candy. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bats and snakes and spiders and millipedes. Oh, my. In studio, Sharon Peterson, IncredibleBats.com, joins us with her friends at 8:08 in studio.
I think I'm gonna sit this one out. I'm gonna go on strike, Dan. I want more money. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Slippery road conditions around Chicagoland this morning. Chicago teachers remain on strike in spite of a tentative agreement, and Uber is suing Skokie. We'll tell you why. Cavaliers hold off the Bulls. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. The House is getting ready to move forward in their Trump investigations. I'm Dave Anthony.
We know the game plan. We've seen it for weeks now. They leak what they want to leak. Yeah. Republicans are criticized if they dare say anything about what's going on.
GOP Congressman Michael Burgess, but House Democrat Jim Himes also told Fox that the witnesses will be given, their testimony will be made public, and it will be a public process. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The House set to vote this morning on rules governing the next phase of the impeachment inquiry. The resolution drafted by House Democrats lays out the ground rules for public hearings, provides procedures for the president and his lawyers to respond to evidence, and also sets out the process for considering articles of impeachment in the Judiciary Committee and in the full House. The measure is expected to be voted along party lines. Only 2 Democrats remain noncommittal. Republican lawmakers and the White House have criticized the resolution as a measure that's coming too late following weeks of closed-door depositions. Dave?
John, a National Security Council Russia expert is leaving that job is being questioned this morning in the House inquiry about the Trump-Ukraine call. Fox has learned the White House tried to stop Tim Morrison from appearing, but the Intelligence Committee issued a subpoena. He did not give an opening statement. A new wildfire was sparked early this morning in California.
The Hillside Fire in North San Bernardino. It's burned about 200 acres so far. A mandatory evacuation is underway for that area right now. 4 homes have burned.
Fox's Christina Coleman in Simi Valley, where another fire keeps burning out of control. Firefighters have been able to protect the Reagan Library nearby. The much bigger fire In Sonoma County, they burned down dozens of homes, almost half contained. A lot of happy baseball fans in Washington after the Nationals won the World Series.
We took it home. The Nats won this in 7. I was ecstatic.
They beat the Astros in Houston 6-2 in Game 7. America's listening to Fox News.
Heavy snow showers, 31 degrees. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Drivers should plan on slippery conditions this morning and this afternoon. A winter weather advisory is in effect. Trick-or-treaters will be experiencing snow and some blowing snow this afternoon in Cook, DuPage, Lake McHenry, and Kane counties and northwest Indiana. 10 or more local communities have rescheduled trick-or-treating due to the snow and cold. National Weather Service says 1.2 inches of snow fell yesterday in Chicago, breaking a nearly 100-year-old record. Chicago teachers remain on strike today, despite accepting a tentative agreement with CPS. Teachers union voting yesterday to accept that tentative deal, but now they're refusing to return to the classroom until Mayor Lightfoot agrees to make up and compensate teachers for time they spend on the picket line. Lightfoot fired back, saying she will not compensate the union for days walking off the job.
We've given them an historic deal by any measure. And compensation, dealing with the issues of class size, staffing, homelessness, sports, the list goes on and on. At some point, the negotiations have to end.
This morning, Uber will take legal action to challenge a tax on ride-hailing services in Skokie. Skokie passed an ordinance earlier this year that imposed a 15-cent tax for shared rides, a 35-cent tax for individual rides on any transportation network company. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. It's a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Fiat Chrysler, the maker of Chrysler, Ram trucks, Dodge, and Jeep models, is merging with France's PSA, the parent company of Peugeot. The Wall Street Journal says the deal would instantly give Peugeot access to Fiat Chrysler's showrooms across the U.S., including those selling Jeep SUVs and Ram trucks. Ford and the UAW have reached a tentative contract they negotiated for just 3 days. Apple and Facebook are reporting stronger than expected earnings. Dunkin' Brands says it's been selling more premium beverages, espresso and cold brews, and also more breakfast sandwiches. That helped it to a better than expected quarter. Sales were up, its business was stronger than a year ago. But Wayfair is continuing to lose money. Its loss in the summer quarter was more than a year ago. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
It's 8:04. We'll have a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Tickets for Freedom Summit 2019 sold out in record time in response to the high demand. We've opened up an overflow room for attendees to watch the event on Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest. Overflow tickets are on sale now, but are selling fast. Get yours at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Woodland Windows and Doors, Automated Systems Incorporated, Joe Cotton Ford, HealthInsuranceMentors.com, and by Cromweedy Roofing.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me, I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Dr. Bob Arnott, and I treat pain with Salon Pause. Before you take anything for back or joint pain, I recommend applying topical pain relievers first, like Salon Pause Lidocaine Patch. Salon Pause Lidocaine contains the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription. It blocks pain receptors, providing effective, long-lasting, and non-addictive relief. Also available in roll-on or cream. Look for the silver Salon Pause box in the pain relief aisle. Salon Pause, it's good medicine.
8:07 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Traffic is lighter than usual in some places this Halloween, not on the Bishop Ford Freeway. Delays start at 111th at 46 minutes, 8094 to the merge. I-57, 30 minutes from I-80 to the Ryan. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. Kennedy, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The Ike, 55 minutes from 390 to the Circle. Stevenson, an hour, 355 for Lakeshore Drive. Northbound Tri-State delays are 111th, 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge, but Adams Tollway tight, 59 at past Barrington. Reagan Tollway, Farnsworth to 59, 355 to Highland, 22nd to Roosevelt. Northbound Veterans Memorial is happening. Fountain to the Reagan Tollway, and the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, he always hands out full-size candy bars, meteorologist Steve Williams.
A winter weather advisory in effect today. Clouds breezy and cold. Some snow and rain at times this morning. Snow this afternoon, according to an inch accumulation, high 34. Clear, windy, and cold tonight, low 21. And then partly sunny, breezy, and chilly tomorrow, the high 40. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Snow has overspread the entire area, most of northern Illinois and parts of northwest Indiana, too. 31 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
I've been asked to tell you that the following show is very scary, with stuff that might give your kids nightmares. You see, there are some crybabies out there who might be offended. If you are one of them, I advise you to turn off your set now. Come on, I dare you. Chicken.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Happy Halloween, Dan and Amy. We have the best Halloween party right here in studio, thanks to Sharon Peterson, who is a elementary school teacher and librarian by day and a wrangler of creepy crawlies by night. She's been trained by Bat Conservation International and the Conservation of Bats, incrediblebats.com. Kim White is her colleague, and they are here with all sorts of things that are going to make Amy hurl. Sharon and Kim, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Dan and Amy. And
throw that thing at me.
So,
no.
The millipede, look at that. We got a millipede.
Yeah, this is an African giant millipede.
Yeah, get closer to the mic.
Yeah, put the millipede closer to the microphone.
And keep it away from me, please.
Stage right.
How many legs does that thing have?
Well, here's the interesting thing with the centipede. On each body segment, they have one pair of legs. And with a millipede, each body segment has two pairs of legs. A centipede is venomous, and the millipede is not.
That's good to know.
And don't worry, they cannot jump at you.
But you never know.
They
You
can.
never
We have
know
no
where
jumping
they're going
animals.
to show up.
And this is a really expensive creature, so I'm not even going to throw it at you, so don't worry.
If you put that on somebody's back, would it have a tendency to crawl into their ear hole?
Okay.
No, not at all.
What about up the nose?
No, wouldn't fit. No, wouldn't fit.
Now,
She's about 2 years old, and she's about 8 inches.
Uh-huh.
And she can live to be about 8 years old and get to be about a foot.
Oh.
And each time she molts, she will get a new body segment with 2 more pairs of legs.
Oh, it's
Legs for days.
That's
as we
nice.
say.
Legs for days, and that's why her name
Those
is
legs
Betty.
go all the way up.
That's why her name is Betty Grable.
Oh, of
Sure.
course. That's what I was thinking when I saw that.
Spitting image. I mean, the golden age of Hollywood is what I thought of as soon as I saw
I
the
think she's
millipede.
adorable.
No, it's beautiful. And what do you do with the skin that's molts? Shoes, purse?
No, nothing.
Oh.
Barbie doll bag.
Now,
But, it's really interesting because when she walks on you, it actually feels like Velcro.
oh, really?
You
So
wanna
she
try it?
won't bite?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here. Let's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Don't drop her.
Down goes Betty Grable.
No.
Oh, I'm going to get
There
sick.
she is.
Oh, yeah. It's like a little hand massage, actually. It feels very nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're at your happy place.
Well, now, I just want to note for our listeners, too, I don't know if you know this, Kim, but there's some sort of dragon that's attached to you as well while you're playing with Betty Grable.
Yeah, it's a bearded dragon,
Mhm.
and her name is Peach.
Okay.
She's one of our little animal ambassadors, so when we talk about reptiles, she comes to school with us for that.
Oh, so you go to schools and scare the children, not just Amy.
We
Yeah.
don't scare, we educate.
Oh, I see.
Right.
I see.
Because
I see.
once you start to observe something, your fear lessens, and you start to really understand the animal.
And is that the bearded dragon, is that lethal?
Not lethal
No.
at all.
No. Does it bite? Does it have any means of protecting itself? Or?
It can bite.
Uh-huh.
They can become what's called food aggressive. So if you just handle them when you're feeding them, then every time you open the door, they just think food, and
That's
they can
called men.
lunge.
Yeah.
at
I know.
you.
There's yeah.
There's the bat.
We have bats
Okay,
in
so
studio
Togo has
too.
to make himself known here.
All right, Sharon. So you've you're the bat wrangler. So tell us about the bats that are in studio.
Well,
here.
23 years ago, I saw a program at the Field Museum of Natural History called Masters of the Night, and I fell in love with bats. And I had my Girl Scouts do a presentation in our local library. And after that happened, they didn't want to do it anymore, but I thought, this is something I want to do. So I went out with Bat Conservation International to do a research project with them. I got certified in the conservation and management of bats, and 20 years ago, I got my first pair of bats, Egyptian fruit bats. I now have African straw bats too. But 23 years I've been doing this. So nights and weekends, and this October I had 46 shows just in this October.
gosh.
So I can't do them all being a school teacher. So my friend Kim here, my husband Dan, he's actually not here because he's doing a show right now at a school in Plainfield. But we've been traveling around. We traveled 12 states. Kim and I went and did a hummingbird festival in Mississippi this year. So we go do colleges, libraries, schools. I did a bar. I did the, what is it called? Top Fuel Saloon just a couple of weeks ago. I did that. So I go everywhere. Anyone wants to
The
learn about that.
occasional birthday party.
And the occasional birthday
Sure,
party.
ideal.
Dan,
Bar
there you
mitzvah. I mean,
I haven't done that yet, but I'm willing to.
But you started with bats, and now you have all of
We've
this.
expanded. Yeah, we've expanded, because they want to pet everything, and I can't let people pet the bats. I let you touch them, but that's in a very controlled environment. But typically, I don't let the people pet my bats, but they want to pet other things. So I have a skunk, I have an opossum, I have sugar gliders, I have other reptiles now, too. And so, yeah, we've expanded a little bit. Just, the thing is, if people know about these animals, the more they know, the more they're going to want to conserve them, the more they're going to appreciate them. There's so many misconceptions,
Not to mention, I mean, if you're single, I mean, bat conservation could, you could
Right.
you could find love.
Right.
Like,
We're both married. We're both
Well,
married.
I know, but I'm saying for
Well,
like.
so maybe we need to
because
get you into it so that you can find love that way,
you
right?
said you and your husband do this together. So I'm
Yes.
like this. This is like the new.
It's a family affair. My daughter, too,
Yeah.
who's a professional artist, she did my website. She does all my social media. She made that awesome video that I have about echolocation. And she's looking for work still. So anyway, she does all the things for me. So Juliet Backey, my daughter, she's awesome, and it's a family affair.
So Bat Conservation International, and again, you're certified there. So that led you. Does that incorporate other animals like we see here, or that's specifically to bats, and that just led you to do other
It's
things?
specifically to bats, exactly.
Okay.
And then it led me to other animals. So, yeah. And then Kim worked at the Brookfield Zoo for over 20 years.
Oh,
and
sure.
so after we met, that's when I started expanding more into other animals. She gave me that confidence to get into more animals. And she's doing her own shows, too. She's a natural naturalist. She's got her own website, too. But she subcontracts for me, basically.
And then now, as I understand it, bats are a delicacy at some other places. Bats, it's what's for dinner.
Yeah, that's one of the problems we have with bats. There's white nose syndrome is a problem that we're having.
White nose syndrome?
Yeah,
What's that?
white nose syndrome. That's a problem. That's a fungus that's been affecting caves, and it's spread throughout the United States. Started in 2006. And what it does is it spores out in the caves while they're hibernating. It gets on them, makes them itch. They have to wake up out of hibernation to groom themselves, And when that happens, they lose their body fat. By the time springtime comes, they can die because they're too weak to fly out to get new bugs. So that's been a big problem. There's 12 species affected by that. So that's one problem. But where the fruit bats are, the flying foxes in the old world, the problem is that they're exposed. They hang out in trees just like our birds do. And because of that, they're very exposed. And so culling them, people think they're pests. Like in Australia, they've been just doing horrible things to them to get them out of the cities. That's where all the trees are for the bats. And then they also they poach them and they freeze dry them and sell them as oddities and do all kinds of horrible things to them. And then, of course, they eat them. So flying foxes, they're larger and they're a food, anything for food.
But they're nocturnal, too, because he seems
Right.
like he's a little bit angry that he has to be up at this hour, because they're a nocturnal animal.
They are nocturnal animals, yeah. My animals are used to being in the daytime, too. But, like, when I travel, as soon as I get back in the car, he'll fall asleep.
Right.
So yeah, but
Sure.
when
Put on
I'm,
some
They've got
Kenny
a bad
G.
reputation.
Yeah.
I mean, bats do. Like, oh, watch out for the bat. But bats are good. Don't they eat mosquitoes and
right? So
They saved Gotham.
they did.
Yeah, right.
no,
as I
bats
recall.
do. That's the one thing that bats do. That's really great for our world. So the biggest thing is eating bats. Mosquitoes. One little brown bat can eat 110% of their body weight, like 6,000 to 7,000 mosquitoes per night. They say it was $3.7 billion in pesticide usage just in the United States alone for all the insects they eat. And then bats are pollinators. We wouldn't have tequila without bats. Bats are pollinators in the desert corridor.
Thanks.
So
Thank you.
Oleo
Thank you.
murcielagos, right? I mean,
Thank
come
you,
on
bats.
now. Yeah, thank you, bats.
All right,
so,
I have two things. One is I all of a sudden have a hankering for a margarita. But in addition to that, they eat that many mosquitoes. Do you think, maybe just an idea here, we have some financial problems in this region of the country.
I totally agree. Yeah, I live
So
there, yeah.
what about if we just got little uniforms for the bats and we replace the Cook County Mosquito Abatement Authority with the bats? Then we don't have no pensions. Is that a you could have, and you could, and we'll pay you to manage the team of bats for the mosquito abatement.
I do that for free for our state. I would, do that
All right,
for free.
just trying to think about public policy applications.
I have to. This fish is giving me the stink eye, and it doesn't look like. It
It's
looks
not
like
a
no,
fish.
it's a fish dog or something. It's got
So-
4 legs.
It's a salamander.
So one of the things that I like
Isn't
to
it?
talk about is biomimicry. And that
I
is,
love that topic.
bio, life,
Right,
mimicry to copy. So to look at nature and to see how it all works and fits together and how it does everything so elegantly without creating waste. So it's very sustainable, which is, those are some of the buzzwords. And of course with STEM, we're talking about all these different things with how to improve our technologies in a sustainable way.
That's fine.
And so I go into schools when kids are talking about their STEM projects, and the axolotl,
which is of
this one right
Looks
there.
a little
What is it? Is it a-
prehistoric.
No, it
Well,
does.
Yeah.
And it's got a dragon. It keeps.
Yeah, those are its
his
gills.
feathers. Those are his gills. Oh,
Its
okay.
gills. So salamanders, when they first start off, like little newts, they have the gills, and that's how they get the oxygen. They pull the oxygen out of the water. But then most of them, as they grow, their lungs develop more, and the gills go away.
Some newts grow up to be a Speaker of the House.
There you
Hi-oh. Thank you so much.
And don't leave.
And so
Okay,
with
so-
this one, they stay in that form their entire life. They never complete that metamorphosis into having lungs instead of the gills. But they are like all stem cells. So they can lose a part of their body and regrow it.
Should we take off
So-
a leg and see what happens?
That's one of the things
They
I always
have
wanted
done
to be able to
that.
regenerate.
They've actually done
Like a
that with
starfish
studies.
or some
so in
regenerative
studies,
quality.
they have actually taken off a leg and it regrows. But I saw one the other day that had 5 legs because it had an injury, like on its elbow,
Yeah.
and another leg grew out of that. Because I mean, they can even get a bite to the abdomen and lose part of their internal organs and regrow them. They can get a bite to the head and lose part of their brain and regrow it.
Okay.
So it's because of these that we have a better understanding of how stem cells work.
All right, we got the other cast of characters need their recognition here. So
We have a tiger salamander.
He's beautiful.
And then
Isn't it?
what about the cockroaches?
I have hissing cockroaches.
Hissing cockroaches.
Madagascar hissing cockroaches.
I
and
don't have
see-
them. I don't really care for them.
All right,
Oh, I've got a little.
quiet on the set. Quiet on the set.
Let me see if I can get him to hiss. No, see, they're used to being handled a lot.
Stage fright.
Yeah, that's
Oh, there.
Oh God! Oh God!
Did you hear him hissing?
We heard Amy scream.
One of the hissing cockroaches made a play for Amy.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
They both took a flying leap out.
Well,
we got them
maybe
both.
they don't
jump.
No, they didn't. They crawled.
They were hissing it. They don't like the show.
They crawled. We need a little bit of excitement here.
All right. So,
there's
well,
the
you heard the
hissing
hissing cockroaches. Now we got a tarantula here in your
Yeah,
hand.
I have a Mexican red-knee tarantula. I want you to notice something. Do you see these two little legs here, how tiny they are compared to the other ones?
Yeah.
When
Let
she
me get a big-
molted the time before, what they do is they shed their whole skeleton. They have to shed the entire skeleton because they have an exoskeleton. So what happened was she lost 2 legs. Well, she survived. And then what happened was this time she just molted about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, she grew her legs back. So she will continue to, every time she molts, her legs will grow bigger and bigger until the normal size again.
Now, was that the tarantula that starred in that Brady Bunch episode when they went to Hawaii and terrorized Greg?
Nah, they can live long times. Females can live 25 to 30 years.
Oh my
Males only live 5 to 7, maybe a little bit longer, but about basically short time though.
aren't they
But no,
poisonous?
not the same one.
Yeah, could that spider kill everybody in the room?
Aren't they
No, it
poisonous?
can't.
It's not-
So some spiders have stronger venom than others, and so there are about 4 different species of tarantula that are great for pets, and they can be handled like this one: the Mexican red knee, the Chilean rose-haired, the Honduran curly-haired, and then the I think it's Brazilian pink-toed. Those are 4 different species that are more common in the pet trade. They're easy to handle. The thing is, though, if they don't like you or they're upset, they can throw hairs at you. So that's their defense. They take their 2 back legs and they kick the hairs off their abdomen. They throw the hairs. The hairs can be irritating into your eyes or your lungs.
It'd be
so
irritating to watch that.
that's-
By the way, Brazilian pink toe was my stage name when I started the Copa. I don't know if you remember that. So can I? Do you have the anti-venom here in case it bites me? Can I
can
hold
let
it?
you I can come on.
Yeah,
okay.
all right. Let me hold it.
It's really soft when she. Yeah.
All right,
Oh, yeah,
all
don't
right.
drop
It's
her,
very
Dan.
soft when she walks on your hand.
Oh. All right, Dan's got it in his hand now.
Bite it. Bite him. Bite him.
And the cool thing is they have 2 toes on every foot, and they have little nails,
Oh.
2 little nails too, so that they hold on that way, but you can like barely feel them.
I'd like to put them like a little leash and just walk around with them, or like a fair, put in my pocket and just
Would you
have
bring
this.
a doggy bag?
Isn't she beautiful?
She is. It's a
Very
beautiful.
pretty.
It's a beautiful
Her
animal.
eyes are at the top by that little pink stripe.
Yeah, I know. She's giving me
make
the.
eye contact.
She's giving me the
It's been a
stink
web,
eye.
too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's been webs too.
Hmm.
Yeah, she's
All
very
right.
cool.
All right. Let me give this back to you.
What felt better, the tarantula or the millipede?
You're cool. You're cool with all these animals.
Yeah, I know. I'm much bigger and stronger than they are. I'm not
You
afraid of them.
you can feel the millipede on you more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amy, do you want to hold the
No,
tarantula?
I'm good.
Okay.
Amy, why don't you hold this
Nope.
python?
I'm good.
You want to hold the ball
No.
python?
Yeah, we
I'm
got
all right.
a
I'm
snake here
okay.
too.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a ball
so that's-
python. Her name is Lucille Ball.
Oh, I see what you did again. You guys
Yeah.
are creative and funny.
And just like Lucille Ball did, she kills.
Yeah.
I-
No,
And how
she's-
big is she going to get?
This is as big as she'll get. So the last shed we were able to measure, and it's about 5.5 feet.
Now, why
Now-
is it good to have pets, snakes? Because a lot of people
They're
have
not
them and I
pets,
don't.
they're ambassadors.
No, not,
Well,
These
but
are
people
our
do have them as pets,
ambassadors,
yes.
right? Everything that we have, really, except for the bats and another animal that I have at home, you can easily obtain in the pet trade.
Okay.
So they're kind of like common animals.
Yeah, but what do people do with snakes?
Well, a lot of
Look
people
at us.
like them.
Yeah, playing with them.
Well, some
Yeah, you
people
go out and play
with them.
toss. Or you just like little animals, and then you watch them squeeze the life out of them, right?
You could, I suppose.
I mean, they got to eat.
Well, we don't like to feed live things to them.
Oh,
Really?
so you have a cache
No.
of dead animals for them to?
You actually can buy dead mice and rats.
Rats
Oh.
and
They're
stuff
frozen.
in the freezer, and we thaw
Oh,
them out.
micicle. Yes.
Because
Nice
if
appetizer.
if we put a live rat in with her and she wasn't hungry, the rat could turn around and bite her and harm her.
Oh.
So
I
we
see.
just feed. Yeah.
I got a
frozen
question.
thawed.
A question on another topic. So, do you know anything about slow lorises?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
a little
he
bit.
wants
yeah.
a slow loris.
I know they're illegal, but they're aren't they when she grabs that little ball of rice? Have you seen the videos?
I haven't
They're
seen
so
them.
cool.
What do
But
they do?
but the problem is they're illegal in this
Why
country.
are they illegal?
Because they have a defense mechanism that can induce anaphylactic shock in humans.
Really?
Right. But any of those, it's a wild animal, and you shouldn't pull those out of the.
Maybe I
Out of
should
wild.
go
Some
to
of 'em are-
I should go across
And-
the globe in
and-
Southeast Asia and live with the slow loris instead if they can't live with me here.
Well, and you could.
Yeah.
You could. Well,
Maybe.
and the other thing too is with a lot of wild animals, we don't know enough about their care. So to bring them
Oh,
into
yeah.
captivity could be very, very harmful to them.
And you have also the bearded dragon.
Yes, Peach the bearded dragon.
All right, so we got Peach the bearded dragon.
Uh-huh.
We got Lucille Ball the ball python. We got
Lucinda the Mexican red-knee tarantula.
Lucinda the Mexican
red-knee tarantula.
Okay.
And then we've got
what are the names?
Betty Grable is
the millipede.
The millipede. The cockroaches don't have a name.
That's okay.
The tiger salamanders.
Wait a second. Why don't the
cockroaches don't need names
well,
because they're cockroaches?
That's
why they have such an attitude.
I know, but
you don't
I
even
have like 40 of them.
Hey.
You know, so
just name them. Just do what George Foreman did. Just name them all George.
Well, true. We could. And then the axolotl.
This is a beautiful
That's
creature.
that prehistoric
The
one.
axolotl, her name is Sashimi.
Oh, boy. That's got to be. That's like a sort of
gotta
Damocles hanging over her head.
Yeah.
That's gotta sting.
And then the
salamander keeps
Tiger,
yawning
it's
at
tiger,
me.
Tiger.
Tiger.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Tiger.
All right.
And the bats are Togo, and I've got his son Zulu, and then I have Ramses with me.
So when you go home,
Oh, Ryan
he's an
Ramsey's
Egyptian
very
fruit
good.
bat.
Is there an area where the bats can freely
So we
fly?
have in our homes we have enclosures for our animals. So my bats have a flight cage. My husband's a builder, Peterson's Construction, and he built this big garage for me, and my animals are in there. My car's never seen my garage, so my car gets snow on it every
So-
and it's a heated garage. I mean,
It's
it's
a
yes, it's got
beautiful,
heat, humidity. It's got
mhm.
special lighting. So we have UVB lighting in there. So yeah, everything.
So Peterson Construction, for those of you in the listening audience who want to build a bat habitat in your home.
Oh, he would
Oh
do
no,
that.
he does everything:
Peterson
siding, windows,
Construction.
decks, everything. He does
Okay,
all that.
all right.
Yeah.
all right.
you
But
know-
the bat habitat is.
And
Yes, he does that too. He
All
can
right.
build those. Yeah.
Sharon's bats are TV stars.
Yes.
Oh, they are.
They were on National Geographic, One Strange Rock, that was narrated by Will Smith. They're in the second episode called The Storm.
Better actor than Will
They did a
Smith,
whole
too.
thing on the African straw bats, and they make the largest mammal migration in Africa. And when they're doing that, they're eating fruit and dispersing seeds. So 95% of our rainforest areas are reforested because of bats. They spread seeds and reforest our rainforest.
There are some seeds that have to pass through the body of a
Exactly.
bat to be able to germinate.
Right.
It's a wild, wild world out there.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like this segment is sponsored by Mutual of Omaha. We appreciate Sharon Peterson and Kim White and their cast of characters and
Ambassadors.
animals and species and kingdoms and phylums and genuses represented here. Thank you so much for making our Halloween. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for both having us, Dan and Amy. I listen to you every morning, and I'm just so thrilled to be here. So
And,
thank you so much.
And to get more information, go to incrediblebats.com.
There you go.
Exactly.
No, everyone remain calm.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-600-5451. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-600-5451. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-600-5451. 1-800-600-5451.
I'm Gary Rabine of the Rabine Group and the podcast Ditch Digger CEO. One of my favorite things to do is golf at our exclusive Bull Valley Golf Club in Woodstock. Just 55 minutes northwest of O'Hare and 35 minutes south of Lake Geneva. 5 minutes from the Metro line. 250 acres of amazing terrain, oak and red pine forest, native prairie and marsh. It feels like you played 4 different courses in 18 holes. Golf Digest rated Bull Valley the 30th most challenging championship-style golf course in America. One of the best courses in Illinois, and the track the best golfers want to play. Good golfers, Bull Valley will make you great. Bad golfers like me, Bull Valley will make you better. A world-class staff and 2 amazing teaching pros, simulators, and a beautiful instructional range. I've got the greatest offer on the planet in private championship golf. If you live in or near Chicago, join our Chicago membership in the next 10 days and get 18 months for $2,500. You heard it, $2,500 to be a member until April 2021. Email Gary@BullValleyGolfClub.com and play championship golf tomorrow. That's Gary@BullValleyGolfClub.com.
What's happening here, there, everywhere? We've got the answer. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Snow showers, 31 degrees at 8:31 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Drivers should plan on slippery road conditions this morning and for the afternoon commute. And as little trick-or-treaters head out for Halloween this afternoon throughout the area, 10 or more local communities have rescheduled trick-or-treating due to the snow and cold. This morning, breaking news from Chicago-based Boeing. The aircraft maker confirming as many as 50 of its 737 NG planes are now grounded after cracks were found. It's another unwelcome development for the aircraft maker, whose 737 MAX planes have been grounded for months. The House looks at next steps in the impeachment process today. The Democrat resolution authorizes some public hearings and offers some guidelines for the questioning of witnesses. Fire crews in California getting some much-needed help. Hundreds of firefighters from western states are rolling into California to help battle thousands of acres of wildfires. South Korean military officials say North Korea has fired 2 unidentified projectiles toward the Sea of Japan. A massive fire caused by a cooking gas stove erupted this morning on a train in Pakistan's eastern Punjab province, killing at least 71. The head of the Federal Reserve Bank in Chicago is stepping down. Anne Pramaggiore resigned as chair this week. The Tribune reports Pramaggiore is one focus of the widening federal probe into lobbying and payoffs sparked by the corruption probe of Senator Marty Sandoval while she was CEO of Exelon Utilities. Chicago teachers remain on strike today in spite of accepting a tentative deal with CPS. Day 11 that students have been out of school. Chicago sports found the Bulls over Cleveland 117-111. Nationals celebrating a World Series title over the Astros. The news, a service of Discover. Get your free credit scorecard today. Even if you're not a Discover customer, it includes your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard will not hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
You love listening to AM 560 The Answer. How would you like to work for us? If you have experience in sales, we'd love to talk to you. You already understand our mission and what we do, so now maybe you'd like to join our team. If you have sales experience, and specifically if you understand digital marketing, we might have a job for you. If you love us, come join us. It could be a life-changing opportunity for you. For more information, just go to the Careers tab at salemmedia.com.
This is Attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649 or go to freeirsbook.com.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson. You know, our listeners helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. And now MyPillow is giving back to our listeners. You can get deep discounts on all MyPillow products by going to MyPillow.com and clicking on the Radio Listener Specials box. I love these pillows, and you know you will too. So receive huge discounts on my pillows, mattress toppers, my favorite, the Giza sheets, and more. For example, the body pillow that provides the perfect comfort and support for your entire body is regularly $89.99, but with the promo code Amy, it's only $29.99. All products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Go to MyPillow.com and click on the Radio Listener Specials box and get deep discounts on all products, including My Pillows for only $29.99. You'll get 30% off mattress toppers and deep discounts on Giza cotton sheets. That's MyPillow.com. Click the Radio Specials box and enter promo code Amy or call 800-489-0201. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
8:37 AM 560 traffic center time, and here is Jim Telemonti.
Nearly 200 flights have been canceled at Chicago's airports this morning due to weather across the region. There are also some heavy delays, especially for arrivals at O'Hare. Kennedy inbound delays start at Montrose, 48 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 38 from Montrose, 28 to the Express. Edens is a 5-minute delay from Pratt to the Junction. Eisenhower looking at 55 minutes, 390 to downtown, 38 from Mannheim. Stevenson an hour, 355 to the drive. Ryan 24 minutes from 95th. I-57 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 42. The northbound tri-state is jammed, 95th to 31st. The Reagan tollway to the Tui Toll and Gulf Lake Avenue. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonti on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center will find cold and snow. Rain is in Illinois, but way far south of Champaign. In fact, they're getting snow in Springfield this morning. The rain is way far south. We'll stick with snow, 1 to 4 inches, high 34, and then near record-tying cold and windy overnight with a low of 21. 31 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Volunteers who were given a cocktail of drugs for a year actually aged backwards. Would you reverse your age if you could?
On AM 560.
I'd be willing to try.
I knew it. Are you going to cut your head off and freeze it so you can be put on a robot body in 2150?
Oh, it's got double D's. I'm in. Let's go.
All right.
The Answer.
Dan and Amy, happy Halloween. Just a programming note from our last guest, Sharon Peterson and Kim White, who brought in all their creepy crawly friends. They are doing an event Sunday, January 22nd, Bolingbrook High School. It's called Wild Fest, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. January 26th. Sunday, January 26th, Bolingbrook High School, Wild Fest, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the proceeds they raise from putting all their the creepy crawly friends on display go to classroom grants for the Valley View School District. So again, Sunday, January 26th, Bolingbrook High School, 10 to 4, Wild West Fest, like we just had in studio for Halloween, and that was a ton of fun.
You know, we should probably put some hand sanitizer on. Because you had the millipede, you had the
tarantula,
you had the bat on your shirt, which I'm going to tweet out a picture of that.
Yeah,
that was nice.
My friends.
You got very involved.
My new friends.
I don't know how you did that. And then those hissing cockroaches, oh my gosh. They are actually hissing. And fell on the floor.
Fantastic. Okay, we need to switch gears here and talk about some matters of culture. Yeah, Andrew Sullivan, writing in New York Magazine, and we mentioned at the time, wrote about this many months ago. The idea with the focus on trans rights and the trans agenda, incorporating that into the larger gay rights movement, is going to present some conflicts. Because, and we've seen the conflicts not just with respect to the gay rights movement, but also with respect to the feminist movement. Bruce Jenner wakes up one day and says he's a woman, and now he's at the forefront of the feminist movement. Obviously, some second and third wave feminists have a problem with that, and so do, frankly, some gay people have a problem with the trans movement.
Oh, yes, they do.
And Andrew Sullivan talked about these conflicts that were inherent, and we're starting to see those conflicts present themselves as he predicted. Brad Palumbo took up this topic as well. He is a writer for Washington Examiner and joins us now. Brad, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Brad, are you there?
Do we have Brad?
Maybe it's
No?
the talk of the spiders and the
I
snakes
think we scared him
that
away.
Scared him away. That he decided. I'm not gonna
Okay,
come
well, why don't we take a break and see if we can line
good.
Brad back up to have this conversation I just set up. Brad Palumbo, Deputy Contributions Editor at WashingtonExaminer.com. We'll be right back with him.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. I could talk to you all day about how I feel about Townstone's service, low closing costs, and great rates. But how about listening to one of our customers?
My name's Elisa French. We've had such good experience with Townstone Financial and specifically Barry Sterner that when my mom was looking to move to Chicago, the first thing I said to her was, she had to call Townstone and got in touch with Barry Sterner, which again, amazing relationship. My sisters, when I am able to ask a question and I have many questions when it comes to this, he really almost holds my hand with his knowledge and explains in such an easy way, and it makes me feel comfortable. So it's easy for me to recommend him.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumerAccess.org. Equal housing lender.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, okay, we have successfully connected with Brad Palumbo, Deputy Contributions Editor at Washington Examiner. Brad, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So you have written a couple of pieces on the topic I was describing before the break, and one of them you headline at your on your piece at Quillette.com. It's time for LGB and T to go their separate ways. What is the conflict as you see it between gay people and trans people and their respective agendas?
Well, it's a question of two fundamentally different things. On one hand, you have groups all kind of that are joined together by sexual orientation, lesbian, gays, and bisexuals. Then on the other hand, you have transgender people who it's something entirely different, right? To say that you're a different gender identity is not related to sexual orientation. So for me, it's always been an unnatural grouping, especially because, in fact, frankly, you've seen the transgender movement kind of go off the deep end in some of the things they're advocating for, to the extent that they're basically, many of the activists are no longer acknowledging the realities of biological sex. The Equality Act that the Democrats have passed in the House, LGBT rights legislation, would redefine sex under federal law to mean gender identity self-perceived. Whereas, so this is on one hand, you have a group that's essentially saying biological sex doesn't matter. And on the other hand, when you have people like lesbians, gays, and bisexuals, we've actually spent most of our life feeling that biological sex matters a whole lot.
Yeah,
right? That's kind of core to the idea of gay identity. So you're starting to see this rift come through and really announce itself. But in my opinion, they've always been unnatural bedfellows because they're just categorically different, the LGB and the T.
And that's essentially what Andrew Sullivan argued as well. It's pretty straightforward. You're right. And one of the ways you see this presenting itself, these conflicts, obviously there are gay men and women that participate in sports. And so a gay woman who has to compete against a man identifying as a woman, whether it's a cycling event or a track event or a weightlifting event, that turns out to be a problem whether you're gay or straight, but female.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the underlying reality there is that I think transgender people should live their lives however they want, and they're not hurting anyone, and power to them. But I'm not going to start sitting here and pretending there's no differences between biological males and biological females. And you can't have biological males competing in female sports in all instances and act like that's not going to disadvantage a whole lot of women.
But even
So-
the
and
athletes
that's
doing it, know they're disadvantaging the women, and we still let this
many
happen.
of them do.
But I mean, it should. At some point in time, somebody's got to wake up and say this is wrong, because eventually there's going to be no women's sports at all.
There's going to be
Or
no
maybe,
women.
Well, what about
There's gonna
him?
be no women.
How about this? What about a transgender team? So you have a male,
they don't want
female,
it.
and a transgender team.
They don't want it because
because they have to compete against males.
No, because they feel like you're treating them as a freak show. You're a special category. So they've rejected. Most of the commentary I've seen on that idea has been rejected for that reason. But Brad, why the alignment? Does it go to essentially what Rusty Reno has argued for some time, and what the Democrats have been for some time, which is solidarity and marginality, identifying or even creating marginal populations, as they so define them, aggrieved populations, and then stitching them together to try to put together a governing coalition. That's why you have people that are forced together who are, as you describe, inherently in conflict.
Yeah, well, I think it's exactly that. The original grouping has come from this idea of, okay, the oppressed people versus everyone else, right? And it's also come from something else that I think is very important to point out. When you had the gay rights movement, truly very necessary decades ago and fighting important battles, right? You had this setup of all these organizations and nonprofits and groups. And then as the gay rights movement pretty much won and kind of won the day, they needed new frontiers to keep bringing in the fundraising and the attention and to keep justifying their salaries, etc. So you've noticed this list, LGBT just keeps getting longer, the IQA2+, and they're going to keep adding these kind of ridiculous self-parody of identities to the end, like two-spirited, right? Because they're going to need to keep on adding reasons for these advocacy groups and movements to exist and get donor checks and et cetera. Whereas that's why you're starting to see them go into this territory that actually, by dragging us in, I think that you've seen, and I think it's, in my opinion, a great thing, the normalization of gay people in America over the last several decades. But the more you continue to attach us to radical ideas like biological sex doesn't matter, biological males in sports, yada, yada, yada. The more you attach us to that, the more you endanger our actual progress that we have achieved, because it could always revert. And I think that that's the real hazard of lumping us in with things that we don't really belong lumped in with, that are much harder, understandably so, for the public to accept.
And what about parental power? I mean, look at the 7-year-old boy in Texas whose mom wants to chemically castrate him a few years down the road, but she says that he is really a she.
Yeah. So that's the story of James Younger, and I covered that for WashingtonExaminer.com in my opinion column. Essentially, what you had here was a parental custody case in Texas where a 7-year-old boy says that he is transgender, and then the mom wants to refer him to treatment, and a couple of years from now start him on puberty blockers based on a 7-year-old being confused about gender. That's not something, listen, that I think most sane Americans are okay with, making irreversible physical changes to young children based on confusion that many studies show young people who have that kind of confusion, a lot of them grow out of it, or a lot of them also grow up to be gay, but they don't need to be shoehorned into transitioning sexes and irreversible gender therapy and hormones. So that's not something, the point of my column was that something like that, something so radical, like, is not something that we should allow ourselves as gay people to be lumped in with, right? We should separate ourselves from that, because the American people are going to reject the idea that a 7-year-old boy or a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old should go on puberty blockers and potentially be sterilized. So we need to not be associated with that craziness, or they're going to reject us too.
Although they don't seem to be rejecting the idea that you can identify as whatever gender you want, that gender is a social construct. I mean, I just go back to the treatment Martina Navratilova got when she basically said it's unfair to have men competing in women's tennis or men competing in women's sports generally, and she was excoriated as somehow, a traitor to the movement. I just see very few people willing to stand up to this because there is so much celebration, corporate and cultural power behind it.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the problem with, I think, identity politics in general, is it really doesn't tolerate dissent, right? So whenever you have somebody, whether it's Dave Chappelle, the comedian with his Netflix special, or somebody who really pokes the bear and points out any of this that we're talking about, they get condemned by the woke elite, and they can't work in Hollywood. It's very difficult, or they get blasted by the liberal media. Twitter mobs will come for them. I mean, I had a Twitter mob come after me after I published this essay in Quillette. It's time for LGBT to go their separate ways. So it really is. There's intimidation coming at anyone who dissents on these topics, and that's part of why the backlash against this movement has been slow. But it's still coming, because ultimately I think people are not going to accept kind of the extension of this ideology into infinity.
He is Brad Palumbo. He's the deputy contributions editor at the Washington Examiner. Check out his piece at Quillette that he just mentioned. I'll tweet it out at Dan Proft as well. Brad, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I started taking them about 7.5 years ago. It was right after I lost my husband. My husband passed away. I was grieving so bad I wasn't eating at all. I mean, I just didn't care. And so I heard the advertisements on the radio, and I thought, well, my family's upset about me. I got to get myself straight, and I started taking them. So I always say they kind of saved my life, you know. They gave me back my life. I would say that.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
I'm Gary Rabine of the Rabine Group and the podcast Ditch Digger CEO. One of my favorite things to do is golf at our exclusive Bull Valley Golf Club in Woodstock. Just 55 minutes northwest of O'Hare and 35 minutes south of Lake Geneva. 5 minutes from the Metro line. 250 acres of amazing terrain, oak and red pine forest, native prairie and marsh. It feels like you played 4 different courses in 18 holes. Golf Digest rated Bull Valley the 30th most challenging championship-style golf course in America. One of the best courses in Illinois, and the track the best golfers want to play. Good golfers, Bull Valley will make you great. Bad golfers like me, Bull Valley will make you better. A world-class staff and 2 amazing teaching pros, simulators, and a beautiful instructional range. I've got the greatest offer on the planet in private championship golf. If you live in or near Chicago, join our Chicago membership in the next 10 days and get 18 months for $2,500. You heard it, $2,500 to be a member until April 2021. Email Gary at bullvalleygolfclub.com and play championship golf tomorrow. That's Gary at bullvalleygolfclub.com.
How much guaranteed income will you have in retirement? John McNamara and his team at McNamara Capital can help you find out how much you'll need for a comfortable retirement with an income plan to help you get there. Get started now with a complimentary consultation. Call 708-580-4796 and at McNamaraCapital.com. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services are offered by McNamara Capital Investment Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Illinois. Any guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Insurance and annuities offered through John McNamara, Illinois Insurance License Number 729012.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so next Friday, The Irishman comes out.
The Irishman. I look at the Irish.
About Frank the Irishman Sheeran, mobster. This is based on the book I Heard You Paint Houses, the inside story of the Mafia, the Teamsters, and the last ride of Jimmy Hoffa. Joe Pesci is in it. He plays crime boss Russell Buffalino.
Let me guess. Who else is in it?
Al Pacino plays Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
A Scorsese film. I wonder if this part of the story will be told. Forget Corn Pop. How about Joe Biden and Frank Sheeran? It was the Teamsters who helped Joe Biden become a U.S. Senator. This from I Heard You Paint Houses. Describes how Mafia hitman Frank Sheeran, a lifelong thug, did a favor while he was president of Teamsters Local 326 in Wilmington, Delaware, for one aspiring United States Senator named Joe Biden. In 1972, this is from the book, this is going to be fascinating with De Niro in it, especially in Scorsese. Does this make it into the film? In 1972, Sheeran, this is the mob hitman, received a visit from a very prominent lawyer he knew was very big in the Democratic Party in Delaware. The November general election was approaching, and the race for U.S. Senate, the U.S. Senate seat there, held by a Republican, was expected to be close. The lawyer that went to Sheeran, the hitman, wanted help in preventing the distribution of a paid Republican political ad, an insert in the Delaware-wide newspapers that would run for a week and expose the campaign misrepresentations by the Democrat challenger. Sheeran promised the operative that he would hire some people and put them on the picket line, adding that people nobody would mess with. The picket line went up. The papers were not delivered all week. And as Sheeran said, quote, the day after the election, the informational picket line came down and the newspaper went back to normal, and Delaware had a new United States Senator. His name was Joe Biden.
Wow.
Thereafter, said the admitted extortionist, thief, and murderer Sheeran of Biden, you could reach out for him and he would listen. Joe Biden's lifelong partnership with the corrupt elements of the Teamsters going back, now we're talking almost 50 years.
50 years?
Yeah, almost 50 years, 1972.
How long was he a senator? 40?
Yeah.
36 years?
72 to 2008.
Don't make me do the math.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
How about it? Joe Biden, will Joe Biden get the Scorsese treatment here? Isn't that interesting? Again, the book, if you want to read it, and you should, but whether you see the movie or not, I Heard You Paint Houses, Frank the Irishman Sheeran, and the inside story of the Mafia, the Teamsters, and the last ride of Jimmy Hoffa, and, well, as it turned out, the first ride of Joe Biden into political office. It just keeps getting more and more interesting for Biden and for the Democrat Socialists with a look ahead to 2020, doesn't it? Yeah. Doesn't it? I mean, and you really have a Democrat Party crack-up going on, even as they think they've got Trump dead to right on impeachment. Isn't it interesting? We played SNL's tone deafness on Saturday night earlier in the week as the raid on al-Baghdadi was going on and he was being taken out. Listen to what the chairman, this is a swing state with a swing Senate seat, right, McSally?
Right.
The state chairman of the Arizona Democrat Party said on Saturday afternoon before that Baghdadi raid, which of course got very little attention from the Beltway Big Government Press Corps.
Did you say that you wouldn't be fair to members of the LGBT community?
Sorry.
No, that's not it.
Vote. Another reason why people are going to vote, because Donald Trump is manipulating the White House and has aligned himself with ISIS and Saudi Arabia.
I have to say that is not true.
But just
that is
let
not
me
true.
Say, the most important thing that we can do today is vote for civility, vote for a president who's not going to align himself with the most dangerous foreign nations that are the reason why we had 9/11.
State chairman of the Democrat Party in Arizona, and this is so classic Democrat. Hey, let's be civil. Let's have civil discourse. By the way, the president has aligned himself with a leading terrorist organization the world over, ISIS.
At least somebody stopped him like, hey,
it was
cool your heels.
Republicans.
I know, but still, it's somebody sensible in the room.
The crack up continues.
Thanks so much for making this part of your day. We're back here bright and early, 5 a.m. It is now 9 a.m. WIND, Chicago.
This is a Fox News alert. House Democrats